Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
All right, back in the house, baby. So it's Queens and Halle this week. It's been a very interesting week. It's been very exciting. We're at the quarterfinal stage right now. So what are your general thoughts about how this week has gone?
The pod has been great, man. I mean, the getting more followers on the Twitter, getting more, having a lot of chatter. So the chatter's exciting. Definitely
Up to
some people who are really
430
active with that.
followers.
So what?
Up to 430 followers, which is
oh wow, I was checking earlier today. It was 427, but I guess it keeps going up.
It just keeps going up. We're super excited, and we're also getting private messages too. So it's really exciting. It's really picking up now. So we just want to do some housekeeping as well. We just want to say that we want to do kind of like a live pod this weekend. We're probably thinking Saturday morning for the semifinals, where we're going to kind of talk live betting opportunities while the matches are going on, and we'll be on YouTube Live for that. So if you guys want to join, feel free to leave comments and stuff, and we'll obviously post a link on the Twitter. So that's kind of a new thing that we're planning on doing. So I think it will be a lot of fun. We see a lot of tennis talk shows while the match is going on, but it's primarily on the tennis and analyzing the match, whereas we want to do a betting focus. So I don't know, a new concept. We'll see how it goes, and we'll try to improve as it goes on. So yep. So let's get right into the tennis. So what are some of your takeaways from the first couple of rounds?
I mean, probably the biggest one is Steph, man. It's just not there right now.
Yeah.
That's probably in terms of major names, right? Yeah.
Tsitsipas looks terrible, man. I mean, so a couple things. So I think first of all, the Badosa thing, right? Where I feel like he just is prioritizing Instagram and being with her more than playing tennis right now. That's number one. I also think that the Alcaraz match at the Roland Garros, he got beaten down so badly. And I feel like that just demoralized him. He kind of realizes how far he is away from winning slams and competing, that I kind of think it mentally demoralized him. I don't know.
I've got a similar but slightly different take. So I'm very confused because so he had a good run at this French. He had several pretty good runs in the clay. He made semis of Rome, quarters of Monte Carlo, right? They're not they're runs you would maybe expect for his pedigree, but those are several. He played a lot of matches on the clay, right? And so then he goes and gets a wild card into what tournament did he play last week? Which one did he play? He played Stuttgart?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so then he takes a wild card. Well, okay, so he does that. Then he takes a wild card into the first tournament of the grass season the week after playing the French and getting to the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
In between, he decides to take a 3-day vacation to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I'm genuinely confused. Most guys don't most guys who make a run to the second week of the French Open don't play the next week. They take that week off. So that would have been pretty logical to take the week off.
He's actually done a lot of confusing stuff. Even going back to Indian Wells in Miami when he was clearly hurt. He just played because he thought it was an obligation to the ATP tour and kind of.
But I can't believe that. He doesn't realize that everybody else sits out because of injuries. Come on.
Yeah,
it's the whole thing is really, really weird. I don't I'm genuinely confused at this point because his scheduling this year has been so weird.
Is he just playing for his father and his family? Is he that's what it almost seems like.
I legitimately don't understand what the I'm not even trying to go after him at this point. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Like the scheduling, scheduling makes literally zero sense. Like, right?
I don't
So, and
know.
it takes a
I
while,
don't
and then it
know.
takes another wild card into Queen's Club. Like, why didn't he sign? Like, if he was gonna do the grass, like, why didn't he sign up for it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense. And then this relationship with Badosa kind of came out of nowhere, right?
That's fine. Like, he's in a relationship. I'm not gonna go after him for that. I'm really not. You know what I mean? Like that's
Okay.
fine. I just like I'm I'm just confused by this, like the schedule. Like,
I'm
why,
not.
if you're gonna play a tournament, like, are you going to Miami for a 3-day vacation in between the French and why are you going back to Miami? Like you can't find a place to vacation in Europe. Like,
Yeah,
and
it's
like they have
weird.
a stop in Miami. He was back in Miami like 2 months ago for like the whole thing.
Especially
Like,
after the French, you're flying to Miami and then back to Europe. Like it just it's so weird.
and like maybe okay, maybe you want to do that. That's fine. But then why are you playing in a tournament the next week? Right? Like take that week off. Go do your full
Yeah, I
vacation.
have a feeling that his like dad and like his mom are putting pressure on him to play tournaments. It just seems like a very like amateurish kind of way that they run the team. You know, like he fired Philippoussis, right? Like kind of a consummate pro, right? And now it's just back to like his family in the box, right? And it's just like he wants to do things his own
He has
way. And it's
somebody in
just
there
kind of
with him,
weird.
doesn't he? That's doesn't he have someone
I think
in there
that's
with
his
him?
physio. I could be wrong, but I think that's
Okay.
I don't know. It just feels like whatever they're doing is kind of like
It feels
a
very
way of
hackneyed, and
amateur.
like
Yeah.
at this point, that's the issue I have. Is like the scheduling makes no sense, and like if you're gonna take the trip to Miami, like I don't have an issue. I literally like none of the individual things that he's done in terms of the scheduling. I don't have an issue with any of the things he's done individually. But when you add them together, it makes zero sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then yeah, it's just weird that he took wild cards into back-to-back events on the grass. Like, was he not planning to play the grass? Like it literally makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going after him for being in a relationship with Badosa. I just think like that's where his priorities are. That's what I mean by that. I'm not like he can do whatever he wants. I'm not bashing him for that. I just think his like he's not really thinking about tennis right now. Like I think he kind of wants the appearance fee, and he feels like he has like he said this when he played Indian Wells in Miami. He's like, I have an obligation to fulfill my role as an ATP player or something like that. Right? Like that's why he signed into Indian Wells in Miami as a like, even with that shoulder injury. And it's just weird. I mean, he's a
but he
weird.
has an obligation to play 250s.
I'm just quoting him. I'm just kind of saying
No,
what he,
I know you are.
you
I
know?
mean, we talked about this back in Indian
Yeah,
Wells, right? Like, my point is at this point, like the whole thing makes zero
it
sense.
does. It
It's
does.
very confusing. I would love to have the real story as to what's going on, because it seems like there's something going on that we don't understand, and I really don't know why. It
Yeah.
just it makes like less than zero sense.
And then just like besides all the personal stuff and the scheduling, like if we just talk about his tennis, he has so many blatant weaknesses. And I feel like it's gotten worse, not better in the last couple of
I
years.
don't know. I'd love to know what's really going on, because it looked better in the during the
Aussie
the
Open. Yeah, it's
whatever you want to
true.
call it, like the Australian season, right? Like the fast hard season. So like, and he usually is fine on clay. So I'm not buying that it's the surface. Like, is he injured? Like, is it just this like goofball scheduling? Is it because like something's going on in the background that's got him stressed out? Like, there's so much just goofball stuff going. Like, I kind of had this epiphany today, which is why I've started talking about it so much tonight, because like it's like there's just something here that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like between this whole entire season since the indoor hards, like the Montpellier whatever part of the
Yeah.
schedule, Montpellier Rotterdam part of the schedule. Since
Mm-hmm.
then, nothing's made sense. Like the playing Indian Wells Miami didn't make sense. The
Playing the clay events kind of made like
Yeah,
playing
the
Madrid.
clay events made pretty good sense.
Yeah,
That's
Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, and the French like
But then
that.
everything afterwards didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So like I'm genuinely confused.
Well, I think his like poor play now is like also partly due to like the Alcaraz. Like, first of all, I don't think he's that good on grass, right? Like, I think that's point
Yeah,
number one. I just think he's like kind of demoralized, like mentally in terms of tennis,
maybe. I mean, I don't
and
even,
looking
but
towards
like,
other ways to kind of like enhance his life. Like that's the only thing I can think of. And like now he's in this beautiful
yeah, but like it
relationship,
still
and
doesn't explain the goofball scheduling.
yeah, I think Halle is okay. I think the Stuttgart one was really goofballish. Like the vacation and coming back to Europe like that. That was just weird.
Yeah, like if you're gonna do the like, just don't do the Stuttgart tournament and like take a full week vacation in Miami if you need to, like, there's no, I'm like, I can't imagine unless his family, unless there's like really big financial troubles. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's major, like, maybe there's some major financial issues that we don't know about in the Tsitsipas family that like, or
I have a
yeah.
feeling his dad is pressuring him to play.
Well,
Like,
that's why I said major financial troubles in the family. Cause like,
yeah,
why
but
else would
maybe
they?
not financial troubles, but just like his dad is just so like ambitiously like ambitious for his son's success, right? Like,
Yeah, but like,
um,
but I don't like. But then, like, why does he need to play? Like, what does
like
I mean?
you have
Honestly, like, what does playing Stuttgart have to do with his kid's success?
well, Apostolos is like, oh, you got to play Stuttgart, you got to get better at grass. Like, you don't know how to play grass court tennis. Like, you got to go and train. Like I think that's what he's doing. Like, I think they run it like it's kindergarten. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, maybe
I don't know. I mean, I'm
I like I have. I mean,
hypothesizing, but
I genuinely don't know. So like, like I said, I'm not even like going after him for it. I genuinely don't understand. It makes no sense to me.
okay.
So that's kind of my thoughts on him.
Well, he's been horrible, so he's clearly a
But
face.
either way, I think like the problems. I think at this point, the betting markets aren't going to. We'll see what the markets do, but I don't think they're going to give you
I
very
mean,
good
Yari was
prices on
like
him.
plus what 220, and I hit on that. You
Yeah,
know,
but I think that was probably your last. Like that was a great hit by you, and that was probably your last chance because like I can't imagine that anybody's going to be pro
I mean, we'll get into the quarters today, but I feel like a lot of favorites are kind of getting like false hype from the markets. You know, like
Okay, interesting.
so. I don't know. I'm not necessarily. I think Tsitsipas is still in a fade spot. Like I think he's still going to get some decent respect from the markets.
We'll see. We'll see. Um,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, obviously, like Nico Jari makes a quarter. That's kind of interesting because he just had been so poor on grass. I think you're partially right. Like, obviously, he's just playing better tennis than he was in the past. I'm not completely bought in yet because, like, beating Mute in this version of Tsitsipas isn't like that exciting to me. But he did pick up 2 wins. Shapo beat Lloyd Harris in straight sets in a match where I had it bet to go 3 sets. I also then bet it again to go 3 sets against Zverev. So I'm 0 for 2 on Shapo this week, which is sad. Um, one of our most painful bets was the Gasquet Sinner. Was that our bet of the day or not? I
That
can't remember.
was plus 4.5. Yeah.
Yeah, and we
That
got
was a
hooked
backdoor
there. That
cover.
was sad.
Wasn't a bad bet by us. It was just a backdoor cover. Like if that went to a tiebreak and Sinner wins it, we win that bet. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's just like, and he played a terrible service game to get broken there, and then Gasquet kind of ran out of gas. So,
yeah.
but honestly, in a way, it's not that painful because like Sinner outplayed Gasquet so much. I think he had 20
No, you're
breaks
right. He had like
in that
21
match,
break points or something. You're right.
and he
We got
only
really lucky
converted
to get
three.
there.
So
You're
like
right. We can't look at it you're right. You're absolutely right, Manny. We have to look at it like we
yeah,
were lucky to even be in that position to start with.
right. It was like
And
painful that it got to that position because all we needed was 6-3, but like we shouldn't have even been in that spot.
then Sinner came out and played a pretty bad first set against Sonego today. But then he
I
came
think,
back
but
to eventually kind of just
I
grind
think
Sinner.
Sonego, as you posted on the timeline, like he's kind of underrated on grass. He's not that bad on grass.
He's not. No, as a player, he's not. I just thought that I just didn't think the first set was particularly good in that match, but from either guy.
Okay. All right.
But Sinner did come back to eventually grind Sonego down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slight regret there. Maybe I should have gone with like a set one money line on Sonego instead of a money line, but
I don't
It's
think it was
just
a bad bet given the price. It was like plus
it was
280.
290. I think I got 290. Honestly, I
290.
can't
I mean,
complain that.
that's a good like for it to go 6-4 in the third. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like I don't think you can regret that. Like that, it was probably 60-40 Sinner, but like, and I think in the second set, like I don't know, didn't Sonego win a good amount of return points? Do you have stats for
I'm
like
looking right now at the stats. Ironically, when I watch a match, I like forget like how the match went sometimes in terms of
Yeah.
like sets. I mean, yeah, Sinner was the better player in sets 2 and 3. Um, like, but and especially set 3. Set 3 was just a matter of time once he got to the third set. But like, I don't know. Yeah, it was honestly,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it
you
was
know,
good.
Sinner saved 3 of 3 break points in the second set.
Yeah,
So like Sonego created some opportunities on
he did.
Sinner's
Yeah,
serve, you know, so
yeah,
it's not like he didn't have a chance to convert a break point because like probably if he converts one of those break points, he serves it out. Well, we don't know
potentially. Yeah,
that, but
potentially.
potentially. But like, I don't think that that's a bad bet at all, given it's
Yeah,
plus
I think you're
90.
right. And we do have to keep that in mind. Like literally when we posted it, we definitely were saying like, hey, like this is probably not going to go well. Like when you like usually when you bet a plus 290, like it's
Yeah,
probably going to fail,
right.
right?
And
Like you're
if
betting it because of the price.
right, right. And if you
Like
guys
it's very
play a
rare that
match
you're
like
getting a
that, I'm
plus
willing to take my
290.
chances, you know?
Yeah, like it's very rare you're getting a plus 290 and you're like, oh, I think this guy's more than 50% chance of winning. Like
Right, right. I mean,
the books are almost never
if it's
that
two
far
and
off.
one though, like then it was a bad bet, right? But
Right.
it
Yeah, I
went three
agree. I
sets.
agree.
I just think Sinner gets way too much respect from the books.
On
Like
grass, I think so too. Yeah.
way too much.
Yeah.
I mean, even on clay, like he just gets so much respect. Like it's like it's almost like Alcaraz, Djokovic numbers. Maybe not to that extent
Honestly, like
now.
it's I don't know, man, because like it's
I think everyone sees how Sinner plays against Alcaraz, and they're like, "Wow, he's so amazing! Like his ball striking is so good." And
the
this,
problem is he plays some amazing matches. Like so he'll go out and just beat the tar out of these guys and beat them by like 6, 7
but he's
games.
not doing that recently,
Yeah,
right?
recently it hasn't been that great. I agree. I agree.
So I mean, yeah, I
And grass is different, right? Like, grass, I don't think he's nearly. I agree with you on grass. I think he's.
that Djokovic being up 2 sets against Djokovic at last year's Wimbledon. That's really the thing, which is like kind of creating his inflated line.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
think so.
it's like, oh, you were up 2 sets again to love against Djokovic at Wimbledon. Like you must be great at grass. And it's like, I don't know. You know, maybe Djokovic played a crappy 2 sets. I got to go back and watch that, but I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Djokovic kind of did, right? Like if you saw what happened in that match, like I don't remember the exact score line, but like the last 3 sets were a beatdown. Like once Djokovic got his way back in the match, it was a beatdown.
Yeah, right. What was the score of that match? Like, what were the last 3 sets?
I'll look it up now. I mean, I think one of them was a double break. Like I think one of them was a
Yeah,
6-1.
3-2 were the
Sorry,
last.
3-2 the last 3 sets. Yeah. So 2 double breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So what else? What else is here? So I mean, let's go back to the Yari. I know we talked about Tsitsipas, but like, so you don't think Yari is that good on grass?
no, I mean, he just doesn't like he doesn't get the kick on the serve, right? The grass doesn't. He has like it helps the serve power, but it doesn't help the kick, right? And like they're like get like the fact that he's tall, he can get that kick on the serve is a huge like kind of underrated part of that.
Mhm.
His movement's not good anywhere,
No.
but it's not good. It's really really not good on the grass. Like he moves better on clay than other surfaces. So yeah, like I still like, but like I get your point. Like I think you called it pretty close to perfect when you said like, yeah, it's 75% Tsitsipas being bad and 25% Yari actually improving on the
Yeah, the
grass.
quality of his ball striking has gotten a lot better,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yeah, he's definitely
His
striking the
game
ball a
has
lot better than he was.
improved, right? So
Yes,
there's
he's an
no
improved
reason to
player.
think that like he can't be good on grass with that serve. Like he just has to improve his movement a little bit, you know, and then
Yeah.
lower balls. But like I don't think there's any reason why he can't be good on grass.
Yeah, I
You
agree
know,
with that.
so yeah.
Um,
That being said, I am fading him tomorrow.
um, so I mean that's the bottom. I mean, Bublik is in a quarter, so this is a
Credit to you for saying like if Bublik is focused, he could win this tournament. And like I thought that was an outlandish take, to be honest. Like when the draw just came out, and you're right. Like I was watching some of that match against Struff today, and it's like he had a lot of break points and a lot of like opportunities on that serve and kind of
well,
neutral.
this is really good for him. Well, honestly, I think that's Struff, and I wish I was toying with betting the money line, and then I pulled off.
Really
So I was
hard.
like, oh, there's a chance Bublik decides to clown. So like, maybe this is a Bublik clown day, and like, I don't want to get trapped
You
by
have
that.
no
So I just stayed
idea.
away.
Even against like Sinner, I know we'll get into that match, but like I'm so tempted to back Bublik, and it's like, like
The
that
problem is there's always like a 10% chance of it being Bublik clown day.
yeah,
Probably higher. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's so
I know.
frustrating.
I know. It is. It is.
Um,
I was shocked that we didn't really talk about this match too much, but like I was shocked that you bet Zverev Chapo to go 3 sets. What was like
it's just like with Shapo with that power on grass, you're getting like plus 140 or plus 150. Like, you're just like grass is a surface with shorter rallies. So like it should be better for Shapo.
It is, but you still have to hit the balls in the court.
Yeah, I mean that is the rules of tennis. That is an astute point. I did forget about that.
I mean, if you had to hit the balls out of the court, then yes, I agree with that. But you have to hit the balls in the court to win that.
Right. That's an astute point, Manny.
Yes.
That's very astute. Yeah. Yeah, I need to remember to read the rules of tennis before I make
Okay, all right. I don't know. Like, we like Shapo can lose a set to anyone in the world, right? We've discussed this on
right, but he can also win a set versus like anyone in the world.
See, I'm
Actually,
sorry.
that's not true. That's not true. But it's more that like I didn't put Zverev in the category of people that Shap can't win a set against. Like I had him close, but not quite. You know what I mean? So it was more of I guess a soft fade on Zverev. Like not really a fade. Okay. I'm never going to bet Shapo money line or anything like that. But I thought Shapo could take a set.
Because like he got romped by Fritz twice. He got romped by Alcaraz. He got
he's not in their league. Shapo can't take a set off though. I mean, he can. Anybody can take a set off.
Yeah, I guess maybe on grass, I was like with the home crowd, I was kind of like putting Zverev slightly closer to that category,
Yeah.
But I mean, it panned out for me, but like, okay. I just was curious about like your reasoning behind that. But it makes sense. It makes sense.
So that's the bottom half. Going to the top half, Hubie, 2 more overs for Hubie. I don't think I hit either of them. I think I might have hit the Eubanks over and not the Greek Sport. Greek Sport, the over was so high today for Greek Sport, like 25, like 25 and a half. It was insane.
It's insane. It's
like you like at that point, it's like so hard. And like Hubie's actually good enough. He's not quite Isner. So like he's actually like good enough where it's like hard to take the overs because like over 25 and a half, the only way you get there in 2 sets is 2 tie breaks.
Yeah.
Like once these over-unders get over 24, it gets like really hard to take.
It's just he's been hitting so many overs, right? At like 22 or 23 that it's like the books kind of have to do that, I feel.
If I'm the book, I'm putting it up there too. That was the right place to put it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I'm ever hitting the under there because like the thing with Hubie is like you might be better off with him going with the 3 set lines because like
he does play a lot of 3 setters.
Well, and I think there's something to like he's so calm and so reserved, and because he knows he has the huge serve, like him losing a set, I feel like doesn't really impact him.
Yeah, it feels like he doesn't expend too much energy when he plays, right? Like it's weird. Like he can lose a set like he did to Eubanks and then just come back and just like play again. Like he almost like expects to lose close sets, I feel.
It's both, right? It's like his game style physical wise is very like he's not, right? Like when is he like jerking the ball around, hitting like difficult shots or like running down crazy shots and playing like crazy rallies? He's not like he kind of just stands there and hits like very mediocre balls and tries to like push his way to winning 30% of rallies and then bomb serves. By the way, he's like far and away leading the tour in aces this year so far. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I know. It's great. Well, you would expect that with the amount of long matches he plays too,
Well, and he does win matches. Like he wins enough matches to like get deep into tournaments. And he has a title this year, right?
It was one of the indoor hard court.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember which one, but he does have one, I believe. Well, to me, the Eubanks loss he won that match, but like that was a painful bet for me because I had the -1.5 sets there. That was a really painful one because I think he had like 5 or 6 set points, and he had mini breaks twice in that second set breaker, and it was just like ugh. And I lost a pretty big parlay on that as well. That was like the one leg.
That's brutal.
It was a brutal loss, but
anytime you lose on Hubie matches, it's brutal. Because like the losses are never like, oh, he got destroyed. They're always like, but the wins are never clean either. It's like every match is.
Right, you're gonna have to sweat
it. And Hubie, but like
right.
They're always sweats.
Yeah.
The Greek sport fade was wrong. Luckily, I didn't lose anything on it. I actually profited because only because Baena is so bad on grass. Like there was not a fade spot there.
Yeah.
Like it would have had to been like Baena like +8, like plus like 500 or something for me to actually back like RCB on grass.
Right.
But
well, that's another thing I wanted to discuss because like guys like Tiafoe, Greek Sport, Struff, and Thompson, they all won their first round matches, right? 3 of them are out now, right? Struff, Tiafoe, and Thompson. But
yeah, I mean, but look, if you look at like Tiafoe played such a, and we'll get into him when we get into the tournament. But like Tiafoe played such an awful match versus Korda. I thought, like that second set, he just like he almost like I feel you disagreed. I thought he looked hurt because like he was just so listless and just like I don't know. He just
I thought he just looked mentally drained.
It was either way. It was bad.
It was bad. But you get that kind of with Tiafoe. Like Tiafoe is not a clown, but he's like kind of like
he's a semi-clown.
He can tinker with that clown.
He's a semi-clown. I mean, we saw the antics against Watanuki, right? Back at the
in Miami.
You know what I mean? He's I mean, he's not in the Bublik category, but he's in the Kyrgios category, but he's sort of a clown.
Yeah, he has those tendencies, right? So,
yeah. But the point is, like, good on Greek Sport, man, for getting and good on Greek Sport for holding it together and winning that tiebreak today against
Hubie.
Because
both guys tried to choke that hard.
They tried both so hard to choke that. Like, it was so sad.
It was a really bad.
At least Hubie had that one amazing dive. It didn't do anything, but he did have a
dive like 2 or 3 times on the
Yeah, but like most of the dives were like crappy dives. But the one dive was like a pretty well done dive. Like he didn't make the volley, but it was like the dive. It was like a solid. He got a solid amount of air on the dive. Like
yeah, it was pretty good.
As a judge, I'm scoring at like an 8. It was one of the better dives I've seen on the tennis court.
Well, I did post on the Twitter. He hit the over on the dives in the tiebreak.
He did. Yeah, definitely. Because I didn't. That should be a bet. Like when they have like the crazy bets for like the Wimbledon finals, like player to smash a racket. They should have like player to dive.
Yeah, they would. They should. Player to dive more than once plus 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk. How about there are 2 more guys I want to talk about here. First, I want to talk about Rublev. What are your thoughts on him? I haven't seen too many of his matches.
I haven't seen any of either of his matches. But like, I mean, I don't know why this is so surprising. He made the finals here, I think, back in 21.
It's because he didn't I know you placed the futures on him, right? You placed some futures to win the tournament at what, like 9-1?
Yeah.
It's actually looking like good bet. But I didn't do it because it was his first grass court match in 2 years. He didn't play at all I think he played 1 match last year in Halle and lost to Bash. And then, he played in 21, but like that's 2 years ago.
I mean, look, we talked about it, right? I was terrified of that match against Wu, right? Like I thought Wu
Yeah.
was a trouble spot. It's not like I was sitting there going like, oh, the Wu was going to be like a, like
Right.
like an easy
Right.
match. But I was like, okay, if he gets through that and if he gets reaccustomed to the grass, like he should be okay.
Uh-huh.
Because I mean because
Yeah,
like last
second
year you
thing.
get it, right? With like Wimbledon not letting the Russians play, like I understand. Like I'm surprised that some of those guys played grass at all. Like I'm
Yeah.
surprised Rublev even bothered to do any grass. You know what I mean? He didn't just take the 2 months off and go on vacay. Like,
Vacate with Tsitsipas in Miami.
yeah. I mean, dude, I would go on a vacay with Rublev.
Not Tsitsipas.
Not Tsitsipas, but I would go on a vacay with Rublev.
Yeah,
Like,
Rublev I would. Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. Rublev's a cool dude.
But yeah, no, I mean, I look, I mean, obviously grass court, the scores are always going to be closer. So like, but that's like for grass, even though I know and like Wu, he was controlling the match and he got broken serving for the match.
He actually had, had break points in the first set, like in the very beginning, and couldn't capitalize. And then Rublev kind of tightened the screws and broke late in the first set.
Yeah.
In second set, I think Rublev had a break, served for the match. Wu broke him back, won that tight tie break, which I was happy about because I had plus 1.5 sets.
Yeah. And then Rublev came back and won the third 6-2.
Yeah, Wu
so
just
like,
ran out of gas. So,
which is a thing with Wu, right? So it's another, again, like it. I don't know, man. At 9-1, like it was more of like I just thought the price was too good.
no,
To hit that.
Yeah.
But I understand the principle of not wanting to bet a guy who hasn't played on the surface in 2 years. And then obviously the draw, like drawing Hoffman in this round of 16 is pretty good. He does have a tough match coming up with Greeks Poor. We'll talk about that, obviously. I'm not, we'll see, but like, yeah. Then the top quarter here.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about
RBA. Or is RBA the other guy? Oh, you want to talk Medvedev?
Medvedev, yeah, mainly.
I want to talk RBA too because I think that RBA interesting. But we I mean it's a little bit of a run for RBA, but again it feels a little false because like it's beating Vavasori is irrelevant in my eyes on grass.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And beating Nakashima is like good, but like.
Yeah, the Bet Rivers guys had I think a 20-1 or 28-1 futures on RBA to win the title. So they were like impressed by the Vavasori win. I'm not at all. No. Vavasori, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like if he beats Medvedev, which I mean it's a match we'll get into, but like that will be impressive, but I don't think his 2 wins are that impressive. I thought Nakashima really should have won the second set. He choked that way. He served for that second set.
Yeah. So like I'm not.
So,
yeah, I'm a little. But yeah, let's talk Medvedev.
Yeah.
I mean, let's. Yeah, he beat Rune in the first round 4-3, and then lost a match to Jiri. I have a thought here, but I want to hear your thought first.
So I'm not impressed by Medvedev at all. Like I don't like what I see from him on the grass courts. Like I think he struggles with the movement a little bit. I think he struggles with the ball coming to him like really quick off the bounce. I don't know. I just feel like he's uncomfortable. Like you know how on a hard court he's just like in control
on a fast hard court.
Okay, I give you that. It's weird that, huh? Yeah. It's just weird that like on grass, like it's a really fast surface, but he's more comfortable on fast hard. Maybe it's just the footing.
I think it's just comfort. But here's what I'm going to say, right? In my mind, this is what's showing that, and not that Medvedev has not been a guy who's not serious about being a top player, but like, I'm actually very impressed with Medvedev because, like, I think in the past 5 months, he's shown a heightened degree of maturity, right? Like, he's winning matches now on surfaces he doesn't like. Before, he was not winning matches on those surfaces. Now he's winning matches. Like, it's not pretty. He goes into like his antics mode. He does dumb, although it is kind of funny as stuff. It is kind of like
it's
lovable.
funny, yeah.
But like he does his stuff, but like he settles down and he's mature enough to like win the matches. Whereas in the past, like he would lose dumb matches on these surfaces. Like losing to Manarino last week wasn't good. I'll give you that, but that's also, that the first week of any time that they have a transition, I'm like, I kind of discount.
Yeah. I mean, from February through May, 100%, I agree with you. But like that loss to Wild at the French and then the loss to Monterino, I was like, oh, maybe he's like kind of trending down a little bit, you know?
I'm not like he's human on the other surfaces, whereas like on fast hard, he's not even human. He's almost at the Djokovic level, right? Like, but we all
Yeah.
know that. Like we know and the books know that too. So you get better prices on him on the other surfaces. Right? Like if this is being played, if this tournament is in Adelaide, you're not getting Medvedev at 3-1 to win the tournament.
No,
You're getting like
he might be minus money.
you probably get like plus one. Yeah,
Plus,
yeah. You're
plus
probably getting
110,
minus money
minus
because
1.
like who's like he's like Tsitsipas isn't beating him, Sinner's not beating him, Rublev's not beating him, Hubie's not beating him, Korch isn't beating him. There's nobody left.
Right.
Like, but like I don't know, he's fighting through these matches and he's winning like matches and he's beating.
Yeah, but beating Laszlo Jiri, losing a set to him doesn't really give me confidence that he's going to go further in this tournament.
It's better than losing the match to him.
Agreed. But like, I don't know. Even that third set was closer than the score indicated because like Medvedev broke, and then I think Jiri broke back pretty quickly after, and then Jiri just played a terrible last two games. So the way the set went, it's not like, Medvedev kind of got a break and ran away with it. Like it was closer than the score indicated.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
don't
you. But
know.
like,
It's just like Jiri is known to be terrible on grass.
I hear you. I'm still going back to like, there's a part of me that says like, this is like, if you want to be a top player, you have like, this is what you have to be able to do on your worst surfaces, right? Is like grind through and like get these wins in spots that like aren't great for you. And I feel like this is I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like this is. I'm looking at Medvedev because maybe it's just a false narrative for me. I mean, maybe it's just a false narrative for me because he had been fine like in previous years on grass. Like in 21 he was fine on the grass. 22 wasn't terrible. So like I don't know. Like,
but I understand you saying that, and from like a tennis player approach, I understand that you're like impressed by what you're seeing, like in his battling. But my thing is like, are you confident enough to back him in your bets? Right?
I mean, like it depends, right? Like I don't think he's a good guy to lay stuff with on the like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of become my attitude with him is like he gets really hard to bet on these surfaces, but he also gets really hard to bet against. Like he ends up becoming more of a stay away guy because like he does make a lot of these matches closer on these on his weaker surfaces.
So are you considering like playing the overs and that kind of stuff with him more so than like
He's probably more of just a pure stay away unless you get a ridiculous line. Because like sometimes he still is sometimes coming out and playing well on the surface, Like Jeroen's not a good grass court player, but he beat him 4-3, Like
what were his results in Den Bosch? Was Monterino
he lost to Manarino in the first round.
That's it?
Yeah. But again, that's first week coming onto the grass, right? Like I discount that pretty heavily. And Manarino's not a bad grass court player. He's in another quarter this week.
No, I know.
He beat Fritz decently,
No, Monterino is really good on the grass. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I respect Medvedev's mental toughness. Like, and I think he's one of the top 3 mentally toughest guys on the tour. Like, I don't think there's really any debating that. I just think like he's just not playing well. I just don't feel he's comfortable, and like he's not as strong of a fade as like say a Tsitsipas would be, for example. But I'm willing to fade him if I see a good line, because I feel like he does get good respect from the books.
My issue is like because he's so mentally tough, I think it gets really hard to fade. Because like
He's
what are
not
you going to do?
hard to
Like,
fade in terms of like overs, that kind of stuff.
yeah, I mean that's how you have to fade him is overs, but then like you don't get great prices on it. Like,
I think you can fade like in terms of +1.5 sets, like that kind of stuff.
no, I get it, but you're not usually getting great prices on that, because even -1.5 sets, it'll probably be like I didn't look. I've seen the line, the baselines, like so like for the quarter, like a good skating 3.5. So does 3.5 games really excite you
I
to
don't
take
like
a
the
group?
games there, but I like other stuff.
Because I just think it gets really hard to like, because like he could like he's so much better than a Goot. He could just like come out and like beat him,
Not
and like
necessarily. You got to look at the head-to-head with those two guys.
I don't know, man. A lot of that's a little bit old, right? Like,
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get
and
into
Goot's
that
been
match.
so bad. Like, we'll get into that match deeper, but like the point is, like, I don't like. I hear your point. I just think it's actually hard to execute on. So
So I think you're leaning stay away in that match, right?
I mean, I'm not sure. I was staring at that one and like, yeah, it's tough. Anyways,
All right.
moving
Let's go to London.
onwards and upwards. Over to the Cinch Championships in Queens Club.
Yeah.
Um, so Alcaraz. I mean, I know you're gonna love the Alcaraz results against Lechka today. He almost lost to Rinderneck.
He did. Yeah.
Um,
I think Rinderneck, he has like a sort of game that can like rush Alcaraz a little bit on the grass, right? Like he's like kind of like big serve. He likes to come in, that kind of stuff. So for a first round match, it was actually tough. Like, I think for a lucky loser, I think that's probably the toughest lucky loser you can get. Probably,
yeah, yeah.
in terms of game style. But like, I actually think that tough match, getting to 7-6 in the third, is actually going to help him moving forward in this tournament.
Okay.
Where he actually had that adversity that he got through, kind of have to kind of face the demons a little bit. And I think now it's going to kind of relax him a little bit. So
Yeah, I don't know.
But to me, like that, it has no impact on the rest of the tournament. Like he's that
that
good.
I agree with. That I agree with. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Dimitrov beat Rusevori. The under hit there again on Rusevori.
You're the
And then he beat our boy
you should just move to
Cerundolo.
Finland. What are you
What?
doing here? Well,
I know.
You should just
I
move to
know.
Finland.
I know. I also love the other Finn, Otto Vertinen. He's like a challenge level player with a massive serve. He's a
Yeah.
fun guy too.
He is a fun guy. He's a fun guy. Yeah. But you get all the Rusevori bets right. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like the one player I'm able to bet on successfully is Rusevori. But yeah, Dimitrov, in a quarter. Cerundolo beat Paul. I know we differ on Cerundolo. Like, I thought that match was awful to watch on grass. Like, it's just like rallies are not the thing to do on grass, especially like the Wimbledon courts are like decent. I feel like even the Queens Club courts, like you get a lot of bad bounces. So like rallying is like really hard. And these guys, like they look like shocked that they're getting bad bounces on grass. And it's like, hello, it's grass.
I think the Queens Club court is way better than the Halle court. Like I actually think it's easier to rally there than the Halle one.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. But
I actually thought those guys played decently. I don't know. I didn't think it was a poor quality match. I just think they're just not used to it, and they were kind of like they didn't know when to kind of play a neutral ball and when to attack. They didn't get that balance right, which is why there were a lot of errors. But it was just like different than what we saw the day before in the Stroop Tiafo match, where it was just like first strike tennis,
No, I get that. And I hear you on that, and I understand that. It's just yeah, I don't know. I was not
yeah. Paul,
like I feel like that's not like trying to win that way on grass is really tough because like you're gonna get so many bad bounces that if you're not attacking and like if you're not putting balls away early in rallies when you have chances, like you're just like basically you're making every point 50-50. Like you're just, you know what I mean? And both guys were doing that.
Yeah. I think there were
Um,
breaks in this match.
there were, and like it shows like the issues that both these guys still have, right? They're both not really like
There were
they're
12
both not
breaks.
really attackers yet. What?
There were 12 breaks in this
Yeah.
match.
Well, because like they're neither one of them are really attackers yet, right? So they're both
Yeah.
still counterpunchers. Um,
Yeah. I'm just bummed that Cerundolo got dusted away by Dimitrov because like I wanted to have that 100-1 quarter price on the Bovada book error still in play.
I know, I know, I know, I know.
I'm just bummed out about that, but
Um,
it is what it is.
moving to the second quarter, Nori got through Kecmanovic and Thompson. I'm not really impressed by that personally. I'm not really impressed by Korda either. Like, there's nothing impressive to me in the second quarter.
So the Nori the Nori Thompson match I hit perfectly. I hit the 2-1.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's
So
pretty
that
cool.
was a good hit. Because I just thought like Thompson would kind of come out playing pretty well. He might steal the first set and then just like fatigue out, which is exactly what
Yeah.
happened. So yeah,
I
I mean
had Tiafo outright, which sadly went down to twos. I don't feel that
yeah.
bad about it at 6, like 18-1. Like, you knew it was priced in that could happen. It's
I'm not
disappointing.
I'm not impressed by Corda either though. Like
No,
that was
no.
just bad
Like,
Tiafo.
yeah, I think he was just either mentally or physically or some combination of
Yeah.
the two gassed or hurt or something. Um, third quarter, we talked about Demonor Schwartzman. That was a missed opportunity. Not backing Demonor.
Yeah, I had the -5 there. We should have
And
had
then
-5
you and I
against
both had Manarino plus 3.5 against Fritz, right?
We did.
On a
Yep.
positive note. So we
That was a
both
good hit.
cashed on that. So that was cool.
Excellent. Yep. Yep.
Um,
Fritz is just a little disappointing. I don't know. Like, he's so one-dimensional. That's his problem. Like, he just kind of is a good ball striker from the baseline, and that's it.
he's got a good serve.
Good serve, good forehand, but like that's it. There's no variation.
Really good backhand too.
But it's not that good on grass because like I think on grass you have to implement slice and you kind of have to change direction and like that's what
Yeah, right. The problem with
balance.
Fritz is that his backhand is his cross court backhand is amazing, but it's just a cross court backhand.
It is right.
Yeah.
So I actually think that's fast hard is probably his best surface or like maybe actually slow hard.
Oh no, slow hard. Indian
slow
like
hard.
It's California slow hard. I mean, he's at his best at Indian Wells.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just like he just does the same thing over and over and over again. And it's like against Monterino is actually going to force you to do different things because
his game is so funny, man. He's really good at it, but his game is so funny.
It is funny. He's really good at what he does. And his racket is strung at I think the lowest tension like, history of the game. Like it's like 29 or something, 28 pounds.
Wow.
It's like insane how loose because like he barely swings it. So when he like taps the ball, it just flies off his strings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's interesting. You wonder if at some point they're gonna implement like rules there. In order to like
string tension and all that.
Like racket rules, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, to eliminate some of the technology, like, just changing the game so much. But I just wonder. I don't know if they will or not. I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying I wonder if they will.
Well, like if Alcaraz, for example, played with that tension, the ball would go out every time. Right?
No, but it feels like I don't know, it feels like it could be a hack for somebody who's like not as like good at tennis to like play with like a weird string tension, therefore like or like play with a weird racket.
I think Monterino is extremely technical in what he does too. It's not like
I'm not saying Manarino is doing that. I'm just saying like I'm imagining this dude coming along with like a funky shaped racket, like like has like figured out like what the exact like right like way to like like and then it has like 10 pounds of string tension so you can like throw like a lacrosse stick every time and like it's just like lacrosse passing the ball around for like years and years. Like
I guess
it may not be realistic, but like I don't know. Like I want to see like a super long like baseball bat style like racket. Like, I don't think it would help you, but like it'd be funny.
I mean, yeah, Monarino is really the only guy that I think like plays like that nowadays, right? Like that really unconventional.
Flat style. I mean,
Yeah.
Mackie kind of does too. Mackie's more in that mold.
Yeah, but
Also.
it's still more conventional in terms of how he moves and how he hits the ball.
Yeah, it's not as weird
Right?
as Minorino. Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays a very old school style game.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Um, I
We
wanted to call out the last quarter because I thought the last quarter was pretty interesting.
Mhm.
So Musetti has actually looked pretty good on grass, and like so did Ben Shelton.
I mean, Ben Shelton's game, just from like an eye test, like suits grass perfectly,
Yeah,
right?
I was just surprised he did this well, having not played on a grass court before.
Okay. I mean, we hit the over there, right? Like we didn't hit the Shelton. I didn't hit the Shelton money line. I just hit the over.
I hit the over on the Musetti match. I think it was over 23, and I hit that.
Yeah,
But
Musetti Shelton.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything on Shelton Wolf. I had no faith there on either of those guys.
I hit
But
the
yeah,
over there, right? I think,
what?
yeah. I hit the over there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you hit the
Yeah.
over twice.
Yeah.
And then the last part, pure pain in that last section because we both had futures bets on Humbert and Peniston, and they went out one after the other.
Well, what I think Humbert that loss to Peniston might be like one of the worst losses all year. That was terrible.
Humbert played terrible, but you know what? It was windy. There was a lot of wind, and it's also like Peniston is like he does play tennis on grass courts. Like I don't think this is nearly as bad as Shardy or like Galan losing to Shardy or like Catch Manager losing to Roundage. Like
Or
you know what I mean? Like
Schwartzman
there's
or Schwartzman losing to McDonald. Or no,
yeah, or McDonald losing to
McDonald.
Schwartzman.
Yeah,
Like
McDonald
yeah,
losing to
yeah.
Schwartzman.
Like, I
That
don't think it's
was
as bad as because like Tennyson is a grass court guy. Like if you like it was windy. Like I could see how you could play this that bad and
mhm.
lose that match. Like that feels possible to me.
Okay.
Again, like it
That's
feels
four and
plausible.
two.
It's not like in the like it's not like Galan losing to Chardy is a pure embarrassment in a 5-set match to a guy who has like a heart condition and like hadn't played a match in like multiple years
Yeah.
in 4 sets in heat when you're a Colombian guy. Like that's just embarrassing on every level. Kecmanovic losing to Raonic, who hadn't played a match in 2 years on grass, like
That's embarrassing too.
it's embarrassing, yeah. And
Raonic hurt again?
not even the fact that Kecmanovic lost. Like if he lost like 7-6, 7-6, or like 7-6, 4-6, 7-6, where
Okay,
like
yeah.
Raonic was serving amazing because he's been because he was able to practice his serve ball. He was before he came back fine, but he lost like 4-3. Like he got his butt whipped.
Mm-hmm. And is Raonic hurt again now?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my god. It's terrible.
I think he's just done. You know what I mean? Like tennis
Yeah,
is a hard game, man. Like these guys play a lot of tennis.
it is, yeah.
And then the last guy I wanted to call out is Holger Rune.
Mhm.
I'm not impressed.
Me neither. I mean, he should
Like
have
seven
lost to
six seven
Cressy, to
six
be
versus
honest.
Cressy. What?
And he should have lost. He was down a break in the first set, and then
Yeah.
Cressy double faulted 3 times in the game to get broken back in the first. And then he was
Yeah.
up. I think it was on serve in the second set, but like at 5-all or something. Cressy missed a Duff volley at like break point or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Where like it's just I think Cressy's just so much struggling for confidence. But like when you haven't won a match in
I
10
actually don't think
years.
I think this is Cressy's true level. I think Cressy just sucks. Like if you look at his stats, I'm gonna look at this a second because I think there's actually a legitimate take here on this. So statistically. So give me a second to look this up. Because I called this out on the podcast in the beginning of the year, right? So
Said he was a guy to fade throughout the year.
yes. Because I'm pulling up his tennis abstract. Tennis abstract is so good for stats, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right, I'll have to pull it manually. All right, so going by year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to find his break point stats. But like the point is like Cressy's like if you look year by year with Cressy, like on return. All right, I'll go for it again. All right, so okay. So 2023, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's won 27% of points on return and broken 8% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
In 22, he won 31% of his points on return and broke 13% of the time. 34% in 21 of points won and 15% on return. But like really you're looking at 22 versus 23 and like 31% isn't that good on return in terms of winning points on return. And he was still breaking 13% of the time. Mm-hmm. Like it just feels like
what percentage of the time is he breaking this year?
8.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
Like and yeah, but like the thing is like but it feels like the outlier was 22. Not 23. My point is it feels like the outlier was 22. Like I can't remember where I looked up his break point percentage, but like
yeah,
it had been like he had an amazing break point percentage in 22. Like it wasn't amazing in and of itself, but like it was amazing for like like for how like for how bad of a returner he is. Like but
yeah, he might be the worst returner on the tour.
He is. Like he's the worst tennis player on the tour. Like I keep saying that like all he can do is serve, which is why and he's a decent volleyer, but he's like he's serving a decent volleyer, which is why he has to hit 2 first serves. Because if he had to play second serve points, he would lose 70% of them anyway.
He's a good volleyer, but the problem is that he has to get the serve in to hit the volleys, or he has to hit a couple shots to hit the volleys, right?
Right.
And that's a struggle for him. Which is, and the fact that Rune went 6-6 with him is not good.
Yeah. And yeah, you're absolutely right. He's
like, I mean, Rune just struggles like with the movement on grass. And I think Rune's problem on the grass is second serve. I think his second serve is actually a really big liability. People don't talk about it much, but like I remember watching him against against Casper Ruud at the French in that quarterfinal, and he doubled so many times.
Yeah. Okay. So I found this down on the ATP Tour website. Guess what Cressy's break point percentage was in 2022 on return?
2022?
Yeah. In terms of converting break points, guess what his percentage was?
Probably 20%.
40. He converted 40% of break points.
Jesus.
So like all of a sudden he's like he's like basically Novak Djokovic when he's when he's getting the break point. Like I just don't believe that, right? Like
yeah.
And now what we've seen is he's down to 30% this year, which I think is like that's he's a bad returner. Like that's how it's going to go for him. Like 30% is probably like that's.
But he also doesn't generate that many break points either, right?
So that's the whole point, right? Like so it's like last year he looked good because he had this like kind of artificially high, break. And like, you will do. I think most guys do a little bit better on break point than they do on return points because like there is something to be said for like when a server's facing break point, they have to be a little more conservative, a little more pressure, etc. But it's not like all of a sudden you go from winning 30% of points to 40%. Like that's a massive jump.
Right.
I mean that is the difference between like Djokovic and like Cressy.
Yeah. No.
Like so that's Cressy, but I wanted to call that out because it is. I think there's
interesting. Yeah,
he's just like a pure fade guy.
Pure fade guy. I mean the markets are starting to get there, I guess, with him.
Yeah,
but like
it's
fast court or like an indoor court with no wind and stuff. Like you'll still get it.
Then it's trickier. Like indoor court with no wind is different because then the 2 first serve strategy actually has a lot more viability, right? Because there's nothing to impact the serve. Even a 5-mile-an-hour breeze or a little sun is like really annoying when you're serving. if you're trying to hit first serves, right? If you're trying to like,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't know. Even in indoors, like if you get a good, because like Cressy's going to be valued higher on an indoor court, right? So
yeah.
you might just
I
still
still
take
think he's.
him.
I don't. You can't take him. You can't back him at this point. I mean, the price you could. I guess the price got ridiculous, but you basically it's as closest to not being able to back as you ever get. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
so those are my takes. I mean, we walked through literally the entire draw, but like those are my takes of what happened the first 2 rounds of the tournaments.
Well, how
And
about Rune? Like just Rune in general, just besides that match, like what do you think his problems are? Like against Peniston, I feel like it was more just ball quality, right? Like he just hits a better
yeah,
ball.
yeah.
That's what gave him
Well,
the
also the stats were really interesting against Peniston because I looked at this. So, like the interesting part against Peniston was Rune won 7 of 21 points on his second serve. So usually I'm not big on backing this, right?
Hmm.
But but in this case, I think it's relevant because like Peniston is a pure like grass court offense guy. So the reason why Holger Rune won that match is that he won 90% of his points when he made his first serve. But like that makes sense against a guy like that would happen because like he's
just
not
his
going to
ball.
defend
Yeah,
anyways,
his
right?
ball
But like
quality is so much better from the back of the court. Like he
but
just
I'm
hits three
nervous about
balls.
this not able to win second serve points um because like that's telling me
Yeah.
that when the other guy gets to attack like he can't like he hasn't adjusted to really play on the grass yet.
Well, I actually think his second service might be his biggest liability, to be honest. Like it's
I
pretty
think it's a
bad.
liability, but I do think it also says something when he's got this. Like I said, he won 30% of second serve points against Peniston.
Well, we've said before in men's tennis, second serve points won is one of the key stats in tennis. Like it's
Although ironically, I don't know if it usually is, to be honest, because like there's just more points that are won there's more points on the first serve. I think in this case it's really interesting because like again, I'm not surprised he had success on the first serve against Ryan Peniston. Like,
well, okay, yeah. What was his first serve percentage against Peniston though?
like 65, 70, pretty standard.
Okay, all right.
But if you're winning 90% behind that, like it was 66%. So like, like he had a good serving day, but not amazing. But like again, if you're winning 90% of points behind that serve, it's gonna help. And that was the difference in that match. But again, like I guess my point is like, can he do that against Musetti in the quarters? I don't think he can.
No, he can't. He's gonna get eaten alive.
My point is like he can't win 90% of points. When he makes his first serve, he's not going to win 90% of points against Musetti.
No.
Musetti will win. Musetti is a good enough baseline game to win some points.
Mm-hmm. But it will probably be in like the 70% range.
But that's pretty standard, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to like spill all my beans on Holger Rune because like I want to discuss like what it means in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So
all right, let's get into
any other takes before we move to the
I do want to talk a little bit about De Minaur. Like I thought that pick against Murray was outstanding. Like I feel like that was probably our best bet, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, it's one of our best bets we've had. Yeah.
And then like you were higher on Murray than I was. Like just like I don't know, there were a few narratives that gave me some cause to pause, like the fact that De Minaur didn't play well against Yuri the week before, like got killed by Griekspoor in sets 2 and 3 in Den Bosch, and then like Murray's trying to get that seed for Wimbledon. So I don't know, but like I felt like Murray just ran out of gas. Like that's what.
So I think there's a couple of relevant things here, right? Like I was saying, like matchup wise, like at this point in Murray's career, like De Minaur's a terrible matchup for him, right? And so that's why. And then I guess this leads to another thing I want to. So I'm glad you brought De Minaur back up. So thanks for that, because I want to talk about this too. There's a few of these like sneaky guys, and De Minaur is by far the best example. But I call them like sneaky good grass court guys. So they're guys without big serves, but like their movement is just, and their game just really plays up on the grass. And like De Minaur is a great example because like he normally has no offense. but the court kind of helps him out here.
Yeah.
I honestly think Mackie McDonald's a little bit of the same thing, although he lost, so it's hard to say. I have a hard time saying anything positive about getting beat down by Schwartzman, but I think like style wise, like he's another guy where like not a big serve, but his game plays up a little bit on the grass.
I think Monterino actually is another one like that.
Oh, Monterino's 100% in that category, 1,000%, yeah. But like there's these guys that like they're not like amazing servers, but they're actually really good grass court players.
Dimitrov is another one. Right.
But he serves a little better. He's more accurate with it, I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, but I get the category of player you're talking about, you know?
And I feel like they're forgotten about. Like, if you have a big serve, like if you're Hubie, everybody knows you're good to go on the grass with the serve. Like, we get that.
Kyrgios, right? Yeah.
Kyrgios, yeah. Like, we understand that, like, okay, Kyrgios is going to be good on grass. Like, he's the perfect example.
Right.
Like, we get that. But, like, there's this category of guy who, like, you know, like the grass, it's like the grass grinder.
Peniston.
Yeah.
That's why he's a grass court specialist, right? Because he just knows how to move on the surface and yeah. And like, that's why I think Shelton in the long run could be really good on the surface because he's kind of like a hybrid, right? He's kind of like a good athlete, agile, but also has that big serve, right?
Well, and the interesting part, right, is if you look like, so Djokovic has won Wimbledon, you know, I can't remember 7, 8 times. You're really good at this. Like
6, I think.
6? Okay, I thought it was more, but okay, fine. Close enough.
Oh, 7 now. 7 now.
Okay. So it'll be 8 in a month. So
yeah.
He's minus 150 right now, Djokovic is to win the tournament.
Insane. That's crazy.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen a guy minus 150 to win a slam.
That's crazy.
128 players and Djokovic is minus 150. Like, so the other guys are splitting up what, a 40% chance? Like, it's insane.
Do you blame the books though?
No, like who's close to him?
No one. It's the
like
most
who's within minus 400 of him at this point on grass? Kyrgios. The answer is Kyrgios. If a healthy Kyrgios.
Kyrgios is so like I think he's hurt.
Oh, he's so far away right now. Right now he's not because he's so far away. We haven't seen him be healthy. But if Kyrgios were to make it to like a semi and you were to see that he was healthy, I think then just because of the serve and he's got.
Who do you think is the closest guy right now?
I mean, it's hard to even answer because, like,
I have one.
I think it's Alcaraz.
Alcaraz.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, like you could. I don't even know. It could be Alcaraz, Medvedev, like.
No, not Medvedev.
But at least he's mentally tough. So is Alcaraz. This is probably Alcaraz just because it's nobody else. But like, there's nobody in the ballpark. Even with the fact that he's the lack of experience, the fact that he almost got beat by Rinderknecht 2 days ago.
It's Alcaraz. Like, I actually think Alcaraz is a pretty clear second, and then everyone else is like far away, even from Alcaraz. That's how. So
that's interesting because I don't know that I agree with that. I think
the gap from Alcaraz to whoever's third is closer than the gap from Alcaraz to Djokovic, obviously. But like, I think it's clearly number 2 Alcaraz.
Interesting. I think he's number 2. I guess you have to define clear, but like, I don't know. I think if you put Alcaraz and Sinner on grass, I think that's a close match.
No, it's best of 5. It's
so Alcaraz just wear Sinner down.
100%. Also, I don't like. I can trust Alcaraz to kind of get to the semis or final. I can't trust Sinner to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's I don't know. I think it's clearly Alcaraz. Like it's. I mean, we'll do power rankings in the next podcast, but like Korda, Tiafoe, you know,
Tiafoe maybe. I mean, like Tiafoe playing Tiafoe playing like good motivated tennis. I know it's always discount because there's like if there's a 15% chance it's going to be a Bublik Clown day, there's like a 5 to 10 with Tiafoe, but like, you know, Tiafoe I think is a real guy on grass. I mean, FAA is so far away from anything. He's not even playing right now.
It's a shame actually because like I thought FAA could be the guy.
Well, right? He would be like he could move up to number 2 pretty quickly for me if he could show like 2 good matches on grass.
I think he's playing Mallorca next week.
Yeah, so if he
curious
shows
to
me
see
2 or
what
3
it's
good
like.
matches there, I mean, it depends how Alcaraz does this week too, but like he could move up pretty high going into Wimbledon, I think, and
Yeah.
be like a sneaky pick. Um,
Like Greek Sport actually might be in the top 10, like right now.
yeah, maybe,
I mean,
maybe. I
maybe in
mean,
the
it's
yeah,
it's it's
it's
bad.
scary. Like I'm really excited to see finals odds for whoever's in that bottom section.
Oh yeah, because I think there's going to be some great
There's going to
value
be some great value there. Like
just
I
because
don't
there's
think
no
there's
like.
much value in outrights because it's just Djokovic against every. Like honestly, if it was Djokovic versus the field right now, I'd take Djokovic.
Well, that Djokovic is minus 150, so the bet Djokovic versus the field will be like minus 150 plus 120 or something.
That's crazy that I mean, maybe just on principle, you have to bet the field because like it's also injury and all that, right? Like just because at that
I mean,
price,
I don't
if
think
you're
you can
getting,
ever bet a guy at minus 150, man, just because of injury. But
yeah.
then again, like Djokovic never gets hurt. Like the dude is like,
Well, he got hurt at the Australian Open and just still got through it.
I mean, like he never gets hurt seriously enough that he like can't like. But he did actually. He got hurt on the clay this year, and he had to take time off. So like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for a
I
guy
mean,
who's 36,
minus
I don't think
150 is like the max. Like if that price goes even further, like even shorter, like minus 160, minus 170, I'm gonna have to take the field just on principle.
Yeah, I agree.
Know?
Yeah,
Like just not that I believe it's gonna happen, just on principle, pure principle,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because like the chance of injury and all this, but um yeah, I mean obviously we'll get more into that later, but let's go into the quarterfinals of these two tournaments. So
So we're gonna start in Halle.
yeah, we'll start in Halle.
All
Sure.
right. So the noon match, we've
Yep.
got we've got our favorite clown, Alexander Bublik, um, versus one of our favorite fade guys right now on the grass, and Yannick Sinner.
Yep.
So what do you have to say
Um,
on this, Mr. Fridman? I guess we should pull up the line first. I already looked at the line, so there's no like guess the lines today.
yeah. Bublik +3. Let me share the screen here.
Yeah.
Bublik +3, +200 on the money line, over 22.5. Sinner's a -250 favorite. So my bet here is the over 2.5 sets at +140. Because like I want to back Bublik in some way here because I think he's motivated. He's playing well. He's an extremely talented shot maker. So if he's not clowning, I feel like he can steal a first set. Sinner also likes rhythm, right? He likes guys that kind of just not hit to him necessarily, but like I think he likes playing guys like Alcaraz, right? Who are gonna like blast balls with him, right? He doesn't like this change of rhythm, change of pace, all these antics. I don't think Sinner really likes that. So I think like in principle, this is a good match for Bublik. So I do think like if he comes out hot, serves really well, I think he can grab a quick break, win a first set. But then I think it gets tough. Like, he could start clowning, so I actually don't mind the Sinner 2-1 here as well. It's too short. Like I would need +300 or better there to hit that. But I do like the 3-set line. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't like any of the standard lines. I actually
Okay.
think the book has this placed perfectly because, like, I think Bublik is good enough to do damage here, but there's also always the clown potential. And, like, it sucks. I actually think Bublik could win this match, but, like, plus 200 is a price that tells me that the books are saying the same thing. You know, I don't hate the idea. It sounds really goofy. I'm contemplating laying the 3 games on Sinner and also going the 3-set line.
Interesting.
Because like I could see a backdoor cover here.
Yeah.
And like Bublik is liable here to tank a set. I don't think Sinner is.
But is he liable to tank the third set?
Probably not, but
I
if he
guess if
tanks
you're
one of
laying
the
3,
first
it doesn't
two,
matter.
what?
If you're laying 3, I guess it doesn't matter.
He only needs to tank one of the sets, right? Like I get there with like a 3-6, 6-1, 6-4 type of score, right? Like
Yeah.
or like a 6-4. I mean, even a 6-4, 7-6-7, 6-4 is a push, right? Because like Bublik, if Bublik's like I just think if Bublik's gonna win a set, it's gonna be close.
Mm.
And if Sinner's gonna win a set, it's gonna be like.
But Bublik has broken serve a lot this week. He broke Struff like 4 or 5 times.
Well, he can break on grass because like his problem actually isn't that he's not a good. The reason he can't break on return isn't because it's not good enough. It's because he's not interested in playing any defense. But on grass, it doesn't matter, right? Because like you don't have like there's not much defense to be played anyways because the rallies are so short.
Yeah.
Because like it's amazing watching grass court tennis just how hard it is to get the ball back in.
It is. It is hard.
So like, so yeah, given all of that, like, but I don't know, man. I've been kicking this one around. Like,
It's a hard
the
match
problem is
to
I actually
pick.
think the -3 is the right line. On
Well,
the
I
game.
never think it's +3 Bublik. I think that that's the worst line to hit. Like, if you want to hit +3 Bublik, just hit the money line.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't even think about it because if he clowns one set and still wins, I mean, you'll probably still win that, but like, why risk it, you know?
Yeah.
If he clowns one of the sets away, you're not winning that +3. So I think that's the worst line to hit here. But you like the 3-set line?
I think it's decent. It's just so tough because like, so there's two issues. One, we just saw this match last week, right? In center roundhouse, Bublik like 4-2, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And like, Bublik's just always such a threat to clown. But he is playing well this week. Like maybe this is an Alexander Bublik week. Like there's no reason you would think he would clown, but like you just never know.
Yeah, I mean another reason why I like backing Bublik here is because like Sinner just played a long physical nearly 3-hour match with Sonego.
Yeah.
You know? So like
Yeah.
like I'm not saying he's going to be fatigued, but like that may have taken something out of him, right? Whereas like with Bublik and Struff, it did go 3 sets, but it was just super quick points. Like it wasn't that physical, you know. So
No, I mean I think they got done in like an hour and a half, right? Or
yeah,
something insane.
exactly.
Like whereas like the Sonego match was like almost 3 hours.
It was almost 3 hours, and the fact that this is the first match of the day, like he doesn't get that extra rest.
But was he the first match of
Sonego's
the day? He was
matches.
early this morning though, wasn't he? He was.
That was the first
He
match
was
of the
first on this
day.
morning.
Oh, it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Bublik
Oh well, okay.
So it was, yeah. But I don't know. But I think that that's a part here, right? Like whereas last week when they played in did they play in Den Bosch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the first match of the week, right? It's also a 250 versus a 500. Maybe Bublik thinks about that. Maybe he's like, oh, I can gain more points here. You know, I don't know how clowns think, but
It's also like it's a prestigious tournament, right?
it is.
Like Halle is a pretty well known tournament.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think you got me like convinced to back Bublik in some way. I'm debating is it the. I feel like that 3 sets at +140 is pretty great.
I like it because I don't see
Yeah.
how Bublik wins this in straights, but I also could see Sinner.
Well, actually, I could. That's the problem. Actually, I could see this ending
Oh,
under
really?
2-0 Bublik. Yeah, because like if Sinner's like slightly tired and Bublik just comes out and plays really good tennis, like there's no reason if Bublik wins the first set, he's not going to come out and keep playing well.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point.
Like, it's so tough. What is the over under on games for Bublik?
12 is -105. 12.5 is +120. But the thing is, if he clowns a set and loses a set like 6-2, you're done.
Yes, no,
Needed to win the
you want to play.
match.
That's the wrong. You're right. You're not done, but you would need him to win the match. Then yeah, that's not the right way to play this.
No.
It's either I might split my unit and go 3 sets and Bublik money line and go half a unit on each.
Okay.
Because I have a hard time multi-uniting this match because it's Bublik. I mean, there's just no reason to have any
Yeah,
confidence.
no, this is definitely not our play of the day. It's definitely not our official play for sure.
Yeah. But I feel like I like both those lines. And I don't love the Bublik to win a set. Like the reality is, so if I feel that way, I should bet the Bublik to win a set. But like at minus 145, I don't love that price.
Yeah. That was my first initial play here, or like thought, but then when I saw the price, I'm like, I'm not laying that juice. No way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, most likely if Bublik wins this match, it's gonna be in 3. That's how I thought about it. So
I'm not as convinced there, to be honest. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just think, I mean, we're getting also plus 140, so it's plus money here. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's the best line on the board, in my opinion. But
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think. I mean, I have a couple hours to think about it. I'll have to kind of like think through it a little bit more. I think I was originally on a stay away here because it was Bublik, but I think you're right. I think there's reason. You convinced me there's you want to back Bublik here. It's just a matter of how.
do you like this?
I don't, man, because
like
Bublik could clown any set. Like, there's no reason he's gonna clown the first as opposed to the second. Remember what he did against Rune?
True. Didn't he lose the first set 6 love?
Yeah, and then he came back and played like an amazing second and third. Like,
True. All right. Well, so you're gonna go.
I'm not gonna go the Bublik +3. Anything else is in play for me.
You might do Sinner -3 and then 3-set line as well.
I think honestly, I think the Sinner -3, the +200, and the 3-set line are all the plays. I don't like the over here as a play of 22.5. Because I just think there's opportunity here for a 6-2 clown job in one set.
There is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the over either. So all right.
So I think those are the 3 options.
I agree. My favorite is I'm sticking with the 3-set line. That's all I'm playing here. Next match, Nico Yari and Sasha Zverev. So I got this a little bit early. Well, let's go over the lines first. It's -3 right now for Zverev. -275 on the money line. Yari's +220, and the over-under is 24. So my play here, I got this actually at -2.5 at -115, and that's what I'm hitting for Zverev.
We're contrarian here.
Really?
I'm actually going Yari here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I wouldn't do this at 2.5. I need the full 3 here to make this bet.
3? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the games matter here. And I'm bought in, I'm not bought in on Yari as a great grass court player yet, but at 3, I can get broken once and still potentially push. Right? It's honestly, it's not even even if I get broken once, I still probably push.
But what makes you think that Zverev can't break Yari? Zverev is a way better returner than Tsitsipas.
I mean, Yari's serve is good, right? Yari just has such a good serve. The right serve beats return. If a guy's serving well, if Yari's serving well, all
right. Okay, but it's going to be a way different match for him than Zverev, or it's going to be a way different match than what it was against Tsitsipas. Literally, Yari, all he had to do against Tsitsipas was direct a 3/4 serve to his backhand, and it would be shanked. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen against Zverev. And once that rally starts,
he could put a 3/4 serve to the forehand, and Zverev can shank it.
He could. It's not as likely as and that was still 6-5, right? That Yari won. It's not like
Oh, I'm not taking Yari money line here, and I'm not even taking. I mean, like I think it's like I just think the 3 games matter here, and like I said, at 2.5, I wouldn't do it. I think there's like, but you're kind of convincing me to stay away, but I don't like this line is pretty damn close. I actually might. I don't know. I'm back and forth here. Like,
I just think Zverev is going to be able to manufacture 1 or 2 breaks here.
yeah,
That's
but I mean, but
my,
Zverev's also a candidate to give a break away.
but Yari, like you brought this up before, like his movement on grass and like he's just not as comfortable. Like once the rally starts, Zverev actually has like a 70-30 edge.
I mean, I don't know if it's 70-30. He has an edge. I don't know if it's 70-30.
It might
That's
be
pretty extreme.
65-35.
Probably like 60-40 or something. But yeah, Zverev
It's a
is by
clear
far,
edge.
which is a massive edge. It's a massive. The 60-40 is still a massive edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like this literally, yeah, it's
I also don't like the comeback after a big win. Like that Tsitsipas win was a huge win for Yari. That's a top 5 win. You know, like backing it up with another solid win. I don't know. I just don't like the spot for Yari here. And I do have him
yeah,
at
I mean, you're convincing me
40
more
to
to
1
stay
futures.
away because like it's also like if you don't really believe the underdog can win, do you want like there's an old adage in sports that says like you shouldn't really take points on an underdog if you don't believe they can win. And I do think it's gonna be really hard for Nico to win here. So you might have convinced me to stay away, but I think 3 games is a lot here to go Zverev -3 on the games.
No, I have 2.5. Same thing with you. I wouldn't hit it if it was 3.
Yeah.
I only like the 2.5.
So yeah. It's so tough, man. Like it's and Zverev has played, he is starting to play better. Yari did beat him on clay in Geneva a couple weeks ago. We forget about that. But
That's yeah.
that's Yari's home. It's not his home, but it may as
Clay
well be his home.
altitude.
It's clay altitude, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yari and clay altitude is Tsitsipas and Badosa.
Yeah,
That's the analogy.
yeah. It's this might be a
I don't
this
mind
might be
minus 1.5 sets at even money, but I don't like that as much as the games just because like I mean he could
Oh,
choke.
I actually don't know.
Choke
That
a
actually might be
tiebreak.
better because, like, do you really see Zverev breaking multiple times in a set on grass? That seems unlikely to me.
That's true.
I actually think that that might be the better play.
I don't trust him mentally though. Like if a set goes to a tiebreak, I don't like that.
But I think if a set goes to the tiebreak, your 3 might be in trouble anyways.
Well, it's 2.5.
Oh, right. 2.5. Yeah, 3 and 2.5. Yeah. Yeah. So the funny thing is, we're really not that far off on this.
We're not. We're not.
It's like a half a game.
I think you're staying away though, right?
Probably like I actually had already placed the bet, but I may go ahead and cancel that because you've kind of convinced me that it might
Just
not
think
be.
once the rallies start, it's just such a big advantage to Zverev, and I just think he's going to get more returns in play than Tsitsipas did. And if
I agree with you on that.
if Yari hits that serve to that backhand, like Zverev is going to be able to get that deep and kind of trouble Yari, and if Yari has to hit like 4 or 5 balls in a rally, it's going to be problematic. And I love Nico Yari, and I have him as a 40 to 1 to win this tournament. So it's like this also serves as a hedge for me a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
So that's another point in this, but like I don't know.
I can cash out. I might have to cash out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next match here. We got
Yeah,
RBA.
I'm staying away. You convinced me to stay away.
I convinced you to stay away? Okay. RBA and Daniil Medvedev.
So I asked the guys in the Discord about this. You know, our
Okay.
Discord with Prodigy
Yeah.
and what's his name from MP9?
Dave.
Dave, yeah.
What
I
were
looked
their
at this match
thoughts?
quite a bit. You're right. RBA does have an odd he does have a head-to-head advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It's across like 3 years. It's 3-2. So the relevant matches are probably 2020 to 2022. So he beat him in Cincinnati in 3 sets. Miami 4-2 in 21. Medvedev won in Halle in 22, 2-4. Agut reversed it 3-2 in Mallorca, and then Medvedev won 1-1 in Astana. So like, I don't know, man. Ironically, like all these matches, there haven't been any close sets.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, which makes me think the games is not the play here. Like, and I don't know that I love the over either.
But
Like,
I think it's a fairly low over though, 22.5.
it is low, but even on grass, I think there can be plenty of breaks here. And the 22.5, yeah, it's a low over, but like, what's like a standard over on grass? Like 23?
Yeah, 23.5. So I do have the over here. I'm not really looking too much into past results. I think kind of in terms of like how long a set is, it's kind of match specific. I don't know. Like, I feel like both
I don't
of
know.
those.
I think you could get there with the over, but I think like these guys, I just think both these guys are breakable. What
Yeah,
is Medvedev over 12.5? That could be a fun play here. Ew, it's yeah, they're
no.
getting too
All
shitty.
these 12.5s are so inflated. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I like playing the over 12.5s more on clay, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my plays here are RBA plus 1.5 sets at minus 110. I have over 22.5 at minus 115. I just thought it was slightly low. Like I thought if that was at 23 at minus 115, I would stay away. But the fact that it was at 22.5.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think like
And I have RBA 2-1 at plus 625. Those are my 3 bets here. I just think Medvedev, first of all, I'm not that impressed with what I'm seeing. I think RBA's like movement and like his forehand, like I actually think it's better on grass. It kind of skids through the court, and he's quite accurate with that forehand, right? If he's playing decently, so I think that could give Medvedev trouble. Plus, he has a good head to head, right? So like, even though he's not been in the best form, I just feel like he kind of knows what Medvedev likes and doesn't like. But that being said, I trust Medvedev mentally enough where it's like I feel like he can win a set. So I like the 2-1 here better than the 2-love. And I don't know, I just see like a back and forth affair here. So I like that 22.5.
see, I think if you like I don't necessarily disagree with the back and forth affair piece. Where I disagree is
Just going to the
I
3
don't think
line.
that I think it's going to do that. Just take the 3 sets at plus 150. Like, how can you take the minus 20, the over 22.5 at minus 115 when the 3 sets is out there at plus 155? But like, so man, for
Right.
reference, and it's a small sample size, but in 8 sets this year on grass so far, only one set for Medvedev has gone longer than 10 games.
And that was the second set against Jiri.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I think I'm gonna cash out of that plus 1.5 sets and go with the 3-set line.
So I was originally a stay away here because I don't have a great feel for this match. The more I think about it, I don't hate the 3 sets at 155.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's the best line on the board. It's especially odd that, like, so a Goot to take a set is minus 110. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't hate this one because like a Goot's a battler, right? So like I'd expect at least one set to be close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I like that. And like Medvedev's got pretty good mental toughness too. I mean, really good mental toughness, right? Like you've got two pretty mentally tough guys here.
You don't like the Agut 2-1 at plus 625? You don't think Agut can win RBA can win this match?
Um, if they go to a third set, what will your odds be on just that set? If you had to put the odds on just a, assuming it goes to a third set, what would you put the odds at?
Probably plus 200.
And what is it to get a Goot? Plus 625.
Yeah.
2-1. Like, ironically, I don't think that's quite good enough.
Really?
It's close. Like 700, I would probably do it, but like, but I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't think it's a bad bet.
Like
But
RBA,
I think the 3 sets might be a better bet. I think the 3 sets might be the best bet on the board here.
like Medvedev lost to third set to Monterino after winning the first set. Like I think on grass anything is possible. And if he gets like flustered and frustrated, after like
I don't disagree with that. I think the question is, I think the 3 set line, the 155 is
it's the best one.
I think it's the best one on the board. Yeah.
How about the if you want to go like RBA, like the LWW or the WLW at like plus 1200, do you prefer that?
No, I think because I don't have a feel for if it should be one or the other, right? So in that case, I'll just take the 625.
Okay.
I don't think the 625 is necessarily a bad bet on its own. What is the set one money line here?
RBA is plus 190. But I think he could win the first or the second.
Yeah, I kind of like the 155, I think, better on the 3 set.
I like that. My book is not letting me cash out of the 22.5, so
Brutal.
I'm gonna play the 22.5, the 3 set line, and the 2-1. That's what I'm playing.
I get it. I gotta think about the 2-1. You definitely convinced me with the 3 set line. To be fair, when I looked at these so early, right when they came out, so the 3 set line wasn't up yet. But now that I see it, I'm game to hit a 3 set line there.
The game spreads are just like not good enough. Like I'm tempted to hit plus 3.5 at minus 105 as well, but like I already have a lot of pro RBA bets. I actually prefer taking the sets here, to be honest.
Oh, I prefer taking the sets. I mean, like this could be a lot. I think there could be plenty of breaks here. Like,
yeah, but like Medvedev could win a 6-2 set, right? And then RBA can squeak out a tiebreak, and then you're still screwed with the 3.5. So it's like
That's why I don't like the 3.5. There could be there's the potential here for 6-2 sets. Honestly, either way, but it's probably more likely to be on the Medvedev side, like pro Medvedev.
How about RBA just on the money line? Like feel like plus 250 is pretty steep for like considering how
it's just Medvedev's so mentally tough, man. It's the same reason I don't necessarily know that I love and I feel like
it's not like he's playing a clown though. And RBA's best surface is probably grass. Like I'm tempted to take the plus 250. Just the money.
I think his best surface is fast Australian hard, but
all right. In January,
RBA.
just because it's January when he's less fatigued.
Yeah.
But plus
he's made some good runs at Wimbledon in his past, though. It's just like, man. It's also tough because
I think this line should be like plus 230 or plus 220, but not plus 250. It's high. It's like 20, 30 cents too high in my liking. I don't know.
So the unjuiced line would be 22.30 or the juice?
I mean, the unjuiced.
Okay. So you think Medvedev should be all the way down at minus 250 or something?
Yeah. Or 270, maybe.
Minus
260.
I
think 310 is it's a lot. I mean, has Medvedev really showed much on grass that he's like a force to be reckoned with? I don't know. I think he if RBA plays a really good
No, Medvedev at minus 310 is never the answer here. I'm a little worried about this style matchup too, but maybe RBA's okay here on a faster court. I don't know.
I think it's worth a sprinkle, like just plus 250, half a unit or something like that. Like, I don't know.
No, I mean,
I think
the money line here is pretty well set.
Really?
Yeah,
I might just stick with the 2-1, and then I get the plus 6. What was it? 650.
I like the 625 with the 2-1 a lot better, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. What are those? Are there any interesting specials up there?
No. Both players to face a break.
Honestly,
service game plus 900.
Yeah. Honestly, Medvedev in the over 21.5. But see, the problem is there could be a quick set in here. Blah.
I don't mind this both players to face a break point in their opening service game at plus 900.
I have to think about it.
If there's one special, though, that's the one I'm looking at.
Okay.
Because I do feel like there could be breaks here.
Oh, I agree with there could be breaks.
No. All right, let's move on to Rublev and Greek Sport here. So I'm very interested to see what your take is here. I have a clear play, and it might be something you're not expecting.
So I think Rublev should be the favorite here, but he is. I think this line should be Rublev minus. I think this price should be 2.5, but it basically is.
Yeah,
you're juicing out at 3. So yeah, I think this line is. I think all these lines are perfectly set. I don't have a play here. So I think what's the 3-set line here? This is another 3-set line could be interesting.
Plus 135.
No.
So my play here is Rublev minus 2.5. So I actually think that right now is the time to fade Greek Sport. Because he's coming off that long week last week in Den Bosch, right? He just had that late night. That match actually started later than normal because, I think there was bad weather, and then there was also 3 long matches prior to that. So he didn't have much rest. I was kind of not really a physical 3-setter, but just an emotional one. And to nearly choke that tiebreak and then get through it, that's going to take some out of him. So I think now this is the time to fade him. And now he's playing a perennial top 10 player. You know, Rublev is going to like make it physical. Like, you know, he's going to do all that. He's going to hit aggressive balls. Like, I think his rally tolerance is better than Hubie's, you know, so I just think like.
So something to keep in mind, we should have called this out earlier. There's 100% chance of rain in Halle tomorrow.
They have
from
a roof.
1 to 6 p.m.
But they have a roof.
Oh, they do?
Halle has a roof.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think they're playing. So it's indoor. But I don't really know if that favors like one or the other.
I think that favors Greek sport. Like, I think Greek sport needs more perfect conditions, right? Like he does not move nearly as well as Rublev does.
But you don't think that this is a fatigue spot for him?
It would have to be mental more than physical. Because that match with Hubie was pretty quick, man. Like, we commented on it. Like, yeah, it was a third set tiebreak, but like
it was late in the evening, and it was an emotional match. Like, it was like
it would have to be mental. I potentially mental fatigue. I don't think physical.
Okay. Whereas Rublev is fresh. He didn't play last week. You know, he played earlier in the day today. Have these guys played before?
I don't think so.
Rublev has one. Oh, yeah, they played in Qatar this year, and it was 7-6 in the third. I remember that match.
I do remember that match now, too. Yeah, you're right. I remember that match. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that this is the time to fade Greek sport. Like, this is where kind of, you know, he hits his wall. That's what I'm feeling. After a big win against Hubie, that win last week, just playing a lot of days in a row, now playing another top 10er. Like,
yeah, I hear you. It's not enough for me to. So what is your what price are you getting on Rublev minus 2.5?
It was minus 115.
Right, because it moved. Yeah, you're right, David. I saw it was 2.5 originally. Like, I don't think you're way off. Like, I'm not taking the other side of this. I think that I think it depends on how much you weight in, like the fatigue factor.
I'm weighing it here. I just think, like, you know.
No, I'm saying in this spot, how much do you weigh it in? Like, how many games is the fatigue worth to you?
Couple games, three games.
I mean, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot. That's saying that then, like, these players are like close to even. If it's not these players are close to even if there's not a fatigue spot, but now it's a 3-game spread is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I hit it at 2.5. I don't know if I would hit it at 3 at minus 115. I probably hit it at 3 if I'm getting plus money, like it is here. But I think I prefer the 2.5 at minus 115.
Well, obviously it's just better, but yeah. I mean, it just depends. Like, if you really think the fatigue is worth 3 games, I mean, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot in tennis. Then you have to go Greek sport. I mean, it's just a matter of how much you factor in that. I mean, that's why this is fun, right? Because there's a lot of different variables to weight in. Like, I have that weighted into my number, but I have it weighted in as like maybe a half a game to a game.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you think the line is perfectly set?
I mean, you've convinced me maybe I should add another half game of weighting to that. So maybe it's like, maybe this line is like a half a game too short, but like usually I consider that to be the juice, so I just stay away. Like, if I think the line should be 3.5 and it's 3, I'll usually stay away. Right? Like,
if Greek sport played an easy 2-setter today, played it earlier in the day, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying. But the fact that it was like that tight 3-setter late in the evening.
But it's pure mental fatigue. It's not
pure mental fatigue. Pure mental fatigue. Plus, you're adding all those cumulative hours he put in last week with the travel and, like, you know, like, it's just a lot.
Well, there's not much travel, right? I mean, it's
Den Bosch,
Netherlands to
yeah, okay. Den
Germany.
Bosch to Halle, it's not that bad, but I don't know. I just
And
think
like the
it's
matches
also
themselves, like yeah, he played a lot of matches, but they were all except for one under 2 hours. Um, like so I'm not worried about like overall physical court time. It's purely a mental fatigue spot. I
Mhm.
hear you, man. I can't really debate you. It's just a matter of like how much do you factor that in? I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay away because the book I think is close enough on it. But like if you're gonna play it, I think you have to play it for Rublev. So I don't think your play is bad. I just don't have enough confidence to hit it.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So I don't think we found our bet of the day in these 4 matches.
No.
We're
No,
gonna have
I
to go.
thought it might. Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't know if we'll have a bet of the day, to be honest.
We're gonna have to go to London. We still have 4 matches to talk about. So,
Yeah, we'll see.
all right. Well, that's good. So first match in Queens, 7 a.m. It's Alex de Minaur and Adrian Mannarino. So the line is minus 2.5 for de Minaur, minus 195 on the money line, plus 160 for Mannarino, over under 23. So my play here is actually a play very similar to what I'm getting for in Zverev, Yari, and Rublev Greek sports. I'm laying the games here with de Minaur, minus 2.5.
Is this another mental fatigue spot?
It's a little bit more physical here, but I think so. I saw Adrian Mannarino last week in Den Bosch. He played against Thompson, and this was coming off like a 3-set win against Medvedev. And like he played a good first set, played pretty good second set, and then he just totally gassed out. Totally. Like literally couldn't stand and win points. So I think at his age, at 36, I think he is. I think backing up big wins. I know the Fritz win wasn't as like long and physical as the one against Medvedev. But I think coming back the next day and like beating 2 quality opponents back to back is really tough for him at this stage in his career. So that's the reason why I'm on de Minaur's side here. It's more like what the fact that Mannarino, that was probably an emotional win for him to be the top tenor, you know, and then also to come back the next day and then kind of do it all over again against another solid grass court player who de Minaur is a guy that makes it physical, right? We got to account for that as well. So that's my rationale here. What are your thoughts?
I think that's the only rationale that is viable to make a bet on this match.
Okay.
Because I think otherwise this line is perfectly set.
Okay.
And I think it's like slightly like if it wasn't for for what exactly what you're saying, I think it would be closer to maybe 2 instead of 2.5. And like so I think it's the same thing as it's honestly the same exact thing as the Greek sport match.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just a matter of like how much do you weight it in.
It's also the guys that they're playing, right? Mannarino is playing de Minaur is going to make it physical. Rublev is also a guy that kind of makes matches physical too, right?
So two interesting specials here. So the Demon Order win and under is 200. If Mannarino just isn't able to like get it going, get the engine started.
Yeah,
it's
appetizing.
And then what is the LWW here for Demon Order?
Interesting. LWW plus 600. I don't mind that. You know
Yeah,
what?
like I feel like those are the plays I prefer.
Okay.
Because those two, like, I've got to think about that, and neither of them are going to be a play of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna play that at plus 600. I think that's just good enough. I like that. I'm gonna hit that.
I gotta
Because
think about it a little more, but it's definitely in the consideration set.
yeah. Because if Monterino wins a set, it's gonna be the first set. Like the first set for him is extremely important because he can't win the match if he doesn't win the first set.
Yeah.
So, and I actually, in terms of covering, that's why I prefer the games here than the sets, because like I feel like if like Monterino wins the first set, De Minaur can still cover. Because like I feel like there are going to be breaks here. It's not like going to be, it's
There will be, but like Manarino fights pretty well, it's hard to see.
he
Like
does, but he has a tendency of fatiguing.
yeah, I'm trying to look to see other examples of like
Nadal at Australian Open last year. Thompson last week.
well, so I have a hard time like putting Nadal at Australian Open into the consideration text. That's just such an extreme extreme example. Thompson's a fine example. Um
Mm. Well, we're not going to count any clay results, obviously.
Miami, that kind of happened.
Yeah, De Minaur in the Australian Open this year. It's kind of similar. Close first two sets, and then just he went away. 7-6, 4-6, 6-4, 6-1.
Yeah, but is that really a fatigue spot? Like he played Isner in the first round.
No, but he fatigued.
That's just like maybe he can't
He fatigued in that match itself.
But it would just be that match, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's a
which I
chance
get
that
it. Both are out those possibilities.
And that's the same guy he's playing tomorrow, actually. So that's a good match to point out.
It is. It's a very useful match to point out. They played in Atlanta. Actually, you know what? They played in Atlanta last year also.
Same exact thing.
The same thing happened.
Yep.
Exactly.
4-6, 6-3, 6-0. It's a perfect example. Same guy. Like, and then look at this.
What is De Minaur 2-1?
De Minaur 2-1. Plus 275. I prefer the LWW plus 600. Because if it's like a 7-6 set that Monterino squeaks out, like he's not winning the next two sets. Say it's like an hour, 15-minute first set. 7-6.
Yeah, but what if it's not, right? Like, I mean,
I'm just saying, like there's that scenario.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a scenario that could win any bet, right? Like,
okay. But yeah, we have two examples where he played De Minaur and fatigued both, at the Australian Open, it was out.
I mean, he did just beat him badly too in Den Bosch last year on grass, so that's also a relevant one where he beat him 2 and 3. So like, it's not foolproof.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's tough. This is a tough match to bet. I don't think the book is like way off. It's like the only play here is this fatigue play. Shit. The only play here is this fatigue play. I don't think there's another. It's just a matter again of how much do you value in the fatigue in your bets, which is why I might like if you want to take that angle, I might go with the LWW because it's like a longer shot as opposed to like betting on the fatigue being a thing. I can bet like that it might be a thing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be my play.
Yeah, I mean, if the match with Fritz went 3 sets, I would be even more enticed to hit this. But I think it's like it was physical and emotional enough where I'm willing to hit the Demon Ore side of it.
Although it really wasn't that physical. It was like an hour and a half.
It's more the emotions of it, beating a top 10 player than backing.
We just said it's physical fatigue, not emotional, mental fatigue.
But it's more physical fatigue within the match itself, and it's more emotional fatigue in terms of what happened before. So I think it's physical fatigue, just like the fact that like Demon Ore is capable of just like wearing him down physically.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that take. I think the LWW is the play here at 600.
Okay. Interesting. It's not better than day material, but it's fun discussion. Yeah. All right, next match we got here is Lorenzo Musetti and Holger Rune. Very interesting match because these are like two kind of like clay quarters, right?
Yeah. Like two of the best clay quarters in the world playing on a grass court.
Yeah.
But Musetti's serving better.
He is.
And I actually think like Rune is I'm not impressed by Rune. I'm more impressed by Musetti. Like Musetti's played tougher competition tight.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we still haven't seen Rune play like and I'm trying to see, like I'm looking at like Rune's first win on a grass court was this tournament, right? And we said it was really impressive. Yeah.
So Musetti's plus 2.5 here, plus 150 on the money line. Rune is minus 180 on the money line, and it's over under 23. So I'll just disclose my place here. I have the over 23 here.
Okay.
And I have Musetti money line plus 150.
I'm just on the Musetti money line at plus 150, and this would be my bet of the day suggestion.
Okay. I like it.
So I think we have a bet of the day.
I just think this should be closer to a pick'em.
I think this should be a dead pick. Like I do. Like Rune hasn't shown anything that he's good on a grass court.
Like and Musetti has slightly more grass court.
So like what?
And Musetti has slightly more grass court experience, right, in his career.
Yeah, I mean slightly more, right? Like, well, I don't think he. Let me see though. Maybe not. You know what? He hadn't won his first grass court win in his career was Stuttgart also. So he's got one more week of good results on grass.
That's pathetic.
But like at least he played Tiafoe tough, you know? And that's a tournament that Tiafoe won. He beat Shelton. Like at least there's some real like
yeah, quality wins, like beating Cressy and then Peniston doesn't like say much. Like I think these 3 sets with Tiafoe, Shelton, even Barrere, like that's slightly better, right?
Yeah.
But I just think like that backhand slice is going to get to Rune, right? Like that's going to stay low. I think like Musetti's capable of extending rallies, so like Rune is going to have to be disciplined with his movement, and it's just like Rune is not going to be able to do what he did against Peniston and get away with it.
Also, like bad bounces aren't great for Rune, right? Like the way he plays.
Yeah.
Right. And like I don't like the ball's not going to bounce up as much from Musetti. Like the danger is obviously like Musetti's backhand is a liability here. Like it is almost in every matchup, but it's a liability here. But it's not as bad because Rune's a righty. Like if Rune's a lefty, it'd be a lot scarier.
Yeah, but
I don't see how this is plus 150 minus 180.
If anything, maybe Musetti's like plus 110, but like it's much closer than
yeah. I mean, I'm all over Musetti money line here, and that's like this is my play of the day.
Okay. All right. I think that's bet of the day. Let's see
Yeah.
if we have anything like more convincing. But that seems pretty convincing. Plus, we got plus money on it.
Yeah.
So, for the Nori.
I can't think of a match that screams more stay away. Like these guys, neither of these guys have been particularly impressive to me. Like Quarter's win over Tiafoe is not impressive because Tiafoe was clearly not at his best. We said already 8 times.
So the Bet Rivers guys, I listened to their pod. They're all over the Quarter money line here.
Well, they have a quarter futures too.
They do.
They're all
They're
over Quarter
excited.
in general.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as impressed with Quarter.
I'm in between.
What's the reasoning that makes you say Quarter?
I think Korda is just better than Nori, to be honest. Like, I think if Korda plays near his capabilities are, like, he should just beat Nori. You know,
But when's
like
the last time we've seen Quarter play at his capabilities?
He's showed some signs of it in the Tiafoe match, I guess, at points. The thing I worried about is like, is Nori going to be able to attack Korda's forehand? Because Korda's forehand does break down. That's what I'm worried about here. So I think Korda should be slightly favored because I don't think Nori's playing that well either, right? So it's like at this, like we haven't seen peak Korda in a while, I guess since like probably the Australian Open against Medvedev. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I don't like what I see from Nori, and like based on current form, what we saw in this tournament, just I think Korda should be slightly favored. Like I think this line should be minus 130 plus 110, which is why I'm willing to take Korda minus 110.
Interesting. Because I actually think Nori should be slightly favored just because he gets the home crowd.
The
And like
Brits
I
don't
don't see
the Brits don't give a shit about Nori. They don't care about it. He's like New Zealand, and he was like in TCU in America. Like is he really a Brit? Like I don't really feel like the Brits embrace him like they do Murray or.
It's not the level of Murray for a lot of reasons, but like he'll still get something.
But I don't think it matters. Like I don't think that the Brits really care about Nori, to be honest.
I mean, when I'm saying he should be slightly favored, I'm saying like maybe minus 120 to even. But this to me is a dead stay away. Like this is just, I don't know, man. Like both these guys like have potential, but could just be such garbage.
Mm-hmm. Have these guys played before?
What?
Have these guys played before? I think they have.
I don't even know if I care.
Delray Beach, Nori beat him in the third set tiebreak. Australian Open last year, Korda smoked him, and then Korda beat him in Delray Beach. So I mean, it's also too long ago. It doesn't really matter.
I don't know. I'm nervous about just we haven't seen like either of these guys play well recently, and like I mean I just think like
well, the book says pure pick'em, right? So yeah. I guess if you don't have a good feel on it, like that's the way to go. I just think Korda should be slightly favored, slightly. So, and then Alcaraz Dimitrov is the last match the day here. I'm curious what your plays are here. Alcaraz is minus 3.5.
Well, you're gonna laugh at my play. I have a very clear play, and you're gonna laugh at it.
Alcaraz minus 275, Grigor Dimitrov plus 220, and over under is 22.5. So yeah, what's your play? I'm gonna laugh at
Alcaraz money line, and you accept the fact like really in this matchup, Alcaraz doesn't win 3 out of 4 times. He's just so much mentally tougher. But I knew you're gonna laugh at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's so boring too. Like minus 275, really?
But like, it's like, do you really think Alcaraz is gonna lose this?
He could.
Really?
I mean,
Like, I just think he's mentally better. Like, I think I think Dimitrov's gonna make this competitive, but I think that Alcaraz is gonna
I actually
ultimately.
think of all the guys in this draw, Dimitrov probably has the best chance to beat him. Maybe Korda on his best day, but that's about it.
So again, like I physically I hear you, but mentally I just don't think like Grigor Dimitrov. The other interesting thing here too is that I saw a stat. I don't remember who posted on Twitter, so I apologize to whoever posted it because I'm stealing your stat and I just honestly don't remember who posted it. But Alcaraz is 20-1 in his last 21 matches versus guys with one-handed backhands, which makes sense because he gets so much spin on the ball on both wings.
Yeah, it's such a heavy ball. But
It's such
doesn't
a
the
heavy ball
grass
that's hard to
negate
hit.
the grass negates some of that?
It does. It does. And like if this was on any other surface, obviously you wouldn't get Alcaraz at minus 275.
Yeah, this was
But
6 when they played in Madrid. And
what?
Dimitrov covered that. It was 6 when they played in Madrid. So you're
I mean, the
adding.
Alcaraz minus 3.5 games is also interesting to me here.
So I'm a little bit higher on Dimitrov in this matchup on grass, I think.
I don't think it's not a physical thing. It's just like Dimitrov is like the mental gap here is so massive. It's massive.
Yeah,
Like you think Dimitrov, and then the physical gap is too. Like you think Dimitrov can hold up against Alcaraz physically?
it's grass though. It's not like Alcaraz is gonna have a hard time breaking Dimitrov's serve. And then in rallies, he's going to utilize that slice. There are going to be some fun rallies, but like also Dimitrov is more comfortable moving on the surface. Like I think the price has that mental gap baked in.
I don't think it has it enough on the money line.
Really? So
Like I think
you're
the
more
game
pro Alcaraz here than I am for sure.
it's just purely like I just don't like I don't think there's a competitive event that Dimitrov can beat Alcaraz in. I think it was boxing, chess, tiddlywinks, poker, like anything. Alcaraz is gonna beat Dimitrov. Like when's the last time that Dimitrov has beaten like a good player that he was a match? When's the last time he's won a match he wasn't supposed to win via like mental toughness?
You guys could probably go back to 2017.
I mean, really, I don't count Fritz because Fritz on clay isn't that good.
Rublev
Like
in Vienna.
what?
Rublev in Vienna.
Yeah, but that was 3 and 4.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like, when's the last time he's been like pushed by a top player and like won a match that made you think, wow, like this guy has like
He probably doesn't even get to that point. That's the thing.
right? But like we talk about how he has talent, but like we also know he's like liable to give away a dud.
Yeah, against Cilic at Roland Garros in 2019, he was down 2-1. Came back. So maybe that one.
Okay, but you just went 4 years.
Yeah, I'm reaching. I mean, like 2017 is probably where you get those results.
Yeah.
Like,
And like I don't think he's gonna smoke Alcaraz. Like if he were to win this match, he would have to like he's gonna have to get through some gutsy moments, and I just don't see him being able to do that. Like minus 275, like I can lose that 1 out of 4 times and still be profitable.
yeah. I mean,
But
I
I
don't.
agree with you. Like, man, I agree with everything on the physical. I agree with you. Like, I do think like physically, Dimitrov has some advantage in this matchup. I think it's like style wise, tennis wise, like I get it. I just don't think I don't think, like I said, I don't think there's any event that I would trust Dimitrov to beat. Like this could be pickleball, squash, rag. This could be anything. I just think the mental gap is so big. Like Alcaraz is gonna win every time.
So do you like the Alcaraz LWW at plus 600 then?
No, because like I think this could also be like Dimitrov's just so capable of throwing a dud.
I don't think he's gonna throw a dud here. I think he's
thrown duds and slams. Like there's you cannot predict. He threw a dud at the French Open like 2 weeks ago. Like he can throw a dud anywhere.
yeah.
Trying to predict a Dimitrov dud is not the right idea. It's trying to predict Bublik clowning.
He seems a little bit more motivated this week. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but maybe that doesn't matter. I like the 3-set line here at plus 140. It's more that I don't trust Alcaraz fully on grass yet.
And I agree with you. Like if this was plus 160 on the 3-set line or 170, like I do think Dimitrov's game for a set here. I just like there's such a mental gap that like I think the minus 275 is just like, yeah, I'm not gonna make much money on it, but I think you're just like giving me money.
Okay.
Like how often
I
does
don't like
Dimitrov
plus
actually pull this
135.
out?
I don't like plus 1.5 sets at all. Because then you're
No.
playing juice. Like I'd rather just take the 3-set line because I don't think there's any way Alcaraz loses in straights, you know?
I agree. I agree with that. Like, I don't know, man. Like, how often does Dimitrov actually win this match?
On grass, maybe like 15% of the time.
So then the money line should be minus 550 or something. Like minus 275. I only need Alcaraz to win like 70% of the time to break even. I think it's
probably a good bet.
It's just lame, I know. And that's why I said you'd laugh at it. It's like the lamest, most boring bet ever. Like
I don't like the Dimitrov money line. I just like the 3-set line. I just think like
I just don't think plus 140 is good enough here. Like there's just too much of a chance Dimitrov throws in a dud. I'm not saying it's like particularly likely this time, but like he could do it against anyone.
Okay. I am looking forward to it in terms of like the shot making that we're about to see and like all that. Right?
Well, it's gonna be I think it'll be a fun match. Like I agree with you. I don't think this is gonna be a Dimitrov dud spot.
I don't think so.
But like it could be. Like anytime with Dimitrov, the Dimitrov dud is like
but you wouldn't bet the dud either and bet minus 1.5 sets at plus 105, right?
No. But I would do that before I took a set and a half in late juice.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, but I do like Dimitrov to win a set. Like even Lechka like generated break points today, right? Like in the second set. I
agree with everything you're saying. I just think the mental gap is so I don't think, like I said, like I think Alcaraz can walk out there with like one arm tied behind his back and like find a way to win. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how he would. Actually, I've seen guys serve with one arm, but like, like I just think the mental gap here is so big that I think like, but I agree with you. It's an incredibly lame bet, and like, what I actually think it works better as like a parlay piece.
Okay. Alcaraz money line and parlay piece.
Like I put a parlay down like this in Musetti as a parlay on the money lines.
Okay.
To get this up to like 2, I think I got it up to like instead of just the Musetti at 150, it got it up to like it wasn't anything amazing, but it got it up above 2-1 or something.
I might do De-Minaur Musetti Alcaraz parlay. I might do that.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting too.
And then maybe add Zverev and Rublev too. Do a 5-way.
Okay. I could see that. I mean, like, yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So our bet of the day official play is official
Musetti
money line against Holger Rune. I like that.
Yeah, but thanks for the pod, man. You gave me a lot of stuff to think about, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Same here. I was a little bit higher on Dimitrov, and you kind of like steered me towards Alcaraz more. So I think I'm still going to stick at the 3-set line, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
All right. Anything on the futures board here that's interesting? So in Halle, you got Medvedev at plus 200, Sinner at plus 275, Zverev at plus 350, Rublev at plus 500, Bublik at 14-1, Yari 14-1, RBA at 14-1, Greek Sport 16-1. I think there's no value on Medvedev whatsoever. I don't see any value on Sinner either.
What about Rublev at 5-1 still sitting out there, man? He's not that bad on grass.
I know, and I do think he beats Greek Sport tomorrow. Let me see where's he in the draw exactly?
Then he'd play Medvedev in the semis,
which I like actually on grass.
In my mind, that's the play here. I mean, I already have an outright, so I don't need to double down, but in my mind, that's the play. Although it kind of sucks that he's gone from 9 to 5 if you're trying to play that. Like, it sucks to go from 9 to 5 after beating 2 mediocre opponents. Like,
it's just like it was really hard for me to hit that when he hasn't played in 2 years. I mean, we talked about it. It's just like,
ugh. Yeah, I mean, look, it's only because of the price, right? If it was like 5-1, there's no way I'd hit it because I'd be terrified of the Wu match. You know what I mean? I mean, like, look, I was literally talking about playing the Wu money line. I didn't do it, but I was talking about playing the Wu money line as a hedge, a first round hedge against my 9-1 outright. So
it's interesting. So like Greeks, they really don't think Greek Sport is going to win because like second quarter is plus 400 to win. It's just better to take Rublev. You know what? I think I'm going to hit Rublev with you. I like that. Bublik, you can't. I mean, he technically could win the tournament, but just the prospect of clowning. Yari, I mean, I think he's going to lose to Zverev, so no. RBA is a little bit interesting. I just think he's going to run out of gas. You know,
there's no way he wins 3 matches, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he might beat Medvedev, but like he's just going to run out of gas.
Especially because, like, okay, so if he beats Medvedev, he probably has to play Rublev. That's another, like, that's 2 super physical dudes back to back.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like if that is a fatigue spot,
right?
Like if RBA somehow wins tomorrow, you've got a massive fatigue spot, I think, against Rublev.
Agreed. So I think Rublev is the only value on the board, really. Like Greeks, Zverev at plus 350 is just not good enough because, like, I don't know. We've seen him lose to Bublik in a big spot in like I think a Montpellier final or something. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, problem is Zverev is just very mentally weak. Like it's tough to back him to win 3 matches in a row at that short of a price.
Yeah, he's really short now.
So
too short.
Yeah. All right, and then Queens futures. Alcaraz at plus 150, Demonor at plus 450.
But I get it. I mean, it's just like the field is so cleaned out now. And like, I don't even know, like, I can't even remember, like, is this the draw or is this like the results? Meaning, like, did he get a good draw, or like, is this just that nobody played the event? No, I mean, the problem is like Tiafoe's been cleared out, who I think would have been a threat on grass.
Yeah, but Korda and Nori are there. Like Alcaraz actually has a tough draw, like to play Dimitrov, then to play either Korda or Nori, and then to play whoever comes out of that bottom half of the draw. Like that's where
I think the deck's been cleared for him because, like, I mean, the 2 toughest guys I think for him in this tournament, like specifically, would have been Tiafoe and Fritz. I know he usually beats up on Fritz, but like Fritz on grass with the serve, I think could have given him some trouble too. Okay. And I think Tiafoe would have been the toughest matchup for him. But those 2 guys are cleared out, and like, I mean, it's just like like if Quarter's playing well, if Quarter can show me something that tells me he's playing well, like it could be a threat, but I don't like it at 9-1. And in
Yeah.
the bottom half, like I get why Demonor is 450, but man, like he can't beat Alcaraz on any surface, can
No,
he?
you can't. You can't. It doesn't matter what surface they play on. I think Demonor is a favorite to get out of that section.
Yeah, if there was a play here like to make the final.
I mean, Demonor did play Alcaraz tough in the Barcelona semi last year, had match points.
Yeah, but I mean, Alcaraz is a different guy back then, man.
He was. Yeah. I mean, I think the only possible play is Corda at 9-1. That's really it.
I find it comical how crappy that line of Musetti is. And like it could be 30-1. I wouldn't hit it because I don't see how Musetti wins these matches. But like I do think it's like relative to everybody else, this is unfair to Musetti.
It is, but we both think he beats Rune, or we think like it's a close match, right? And then
Oh
like,
yeah. I'm saying like I think he should be at like 7-1, but like I also don't see how he wins the tournament. So I'm not gonna hit it at 16.
he's also in the bottom half of the draw, so like he potentially has two matches for Alcaraz to lose, where he wouldn't play Alcaraz in the final. So like that's not a terrible value play.
And he's played Alcaraz tough in the past, albeit on clay. But Alcaraz isn't great on grass either. Like,
Yeah, that might not be terrible.
I'm tempted because like that's just like that's just a crappy like that's just such a like
It is.
man, like that's just it's such a low price compared like for him to be by far the 8th guy on this board, like I can't see it.
He's not getting any respect.
Yeah.
But something tells me that if he beats Rune, he might still not get that much respect. He might still be like 8-1 or 9-1 to win the title.
Probably.
So I would actually wait until he beats Rune and then look to hit it.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
So I don't know. Yeah. So that's that. Quarters tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And we got a live pod coming up on Saturday.
For the semis, yeah.
We will have a preview for Mallorca and Eastbourne on Sunday night.
Yep.
And then all the Wimbledon stuff comes out that week.
Oh, qualies go out. Qualies come out next week too.
Yep. I mean, it's really tough. I mean, we will post our bets on Twitter, but it's really hard to like preview every quality match. Like it's impossible. So
yeah, we'll have to just like pick matches off the board that we like.
Yeah.
But honestly, the Wimbledon qualities are so weird because so many guys like there's so few grass court guys, and like I feel like there's so many clay grinders between like 100 and 300 in the world. They then come and try to play the Wimbledon qualities that is just like
so true. So hard to bet.
And like, how do you then bet that? Like, if you have two clay grinders on a grass, like, how do you bet that? Like, when Juan Manuel Cerundolo shows up here as like the 3rd seed in qualities to try to qualify, like, how do you bet him? Like, his whole game is like running around and trying to like make balls in the court on a ball on like a court the ball's not going to bounce. Like
Juan Manuel Cerundolo and Facundo Diaz Acosta.
Yeah.
What's the spread? Who the hell knows?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like pulled out of your ass. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, and I'm curious to see what other people on Twitter are going to be betting, right? Because there's such a low sample size, like they're probably guys that just played their first matches on grass in their career.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just. I mean, I probably won't be betting much of it. It's probably the answer.
Probably not. Yeah. All right. Well, a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Thanks for the chatter on Twitter. It's been a great ride these first 6 months. So
we still made this a 2.5 hour pod. I have no idea how.
We just can't help ourselves. Can I say? What else did I want to say? Oh, so our official play, Musetti against Holger Rune. We are down 3.23 units on our official play, so hopefully we get back in the green. Hitting this
Well,
plus
that would get us back to
yeah.
0.2 units down. So that would be a nice. If Musetti can find a win tomorrow, that would be nice.
That would be nice. That would be nice. All right, everyone. Well, have a good night.
Have a good night.
See ya.